And so we are back once again. Hello everybody, welcome into the Bowenthius channel. It is I, your host, the Bowenthius.
Hello there.
Hello, Skull. Hello. Congrats on the first once again. And hello, that's a new name. It's YesiQOO. Welcome in, thank you for stopping by. And of course, the classic kill shot with their daily... Is acquiescence the correct word? I heard it once in an anime and it sounded cool. Boom! Boom! The parietal bone. Primary thing that one could associate with an egg with regards to the human skull. But welcome in, Killshot. I hope your week has treated you well. It is Friday after all, and thusly this week is ended. And even more thusly shall a new week unfold after this one is ended, because that is how the passage of time works. And also our arbitrary way to denote the passage of time. The passage of time itself being an arbitrary construct in of itself that is solely dependent on our positioning in the cosmos relative to the center or a black hole. I don't know. I'm trying to feign intelligence. Is it working? Do you think I'm a smart boy? Classic kill shot, says Bowen. That begs the question, what is a modern kill shot like? Are railguns well, I mean, railguns are a thing, but my point is, have they been indoctrinated into the military for standard use? I don't think so. Y'all collecting bone? Could you give me 4 small pieces? I got holes in me jaw. Also, as an elementary school teacher, I am so happy it's Friday. First Friday of the school year. Oh. That's delightful. I automatically bequeath unto anybody who enters my abode bones. You may check what your specific bone that you acquired is with the exclamation mark daily. But yes, everybody gets bones around here. As long as you are within my realm, I give away bones. And I also teach you the ways to control bones with your mind and or magic. That is my occupation, after all. I am a bone wizard. A Osteomancer, if you will. But yes, I'm glad to hear that Friday is a good time of the week for you. Because because it is... I had no idea. I mean, it depends on the region you're from, but my point is that it varies when summer vacation ends and when the school year begins from place to place. So, being somebody who is not affiliated with the educational sector in any way, shape, or form, the minute I finished all of my 50 million educations, I have not been keeping up with the dates and times and so on and so forth, so... Forgive my ignorance with regards to that. But yes, we are gathered here today for reading. Last time we left off, we read about, as soon as I can put up the tab, SCP-8306, which was a fancy ghost. What did he call himself by? I forgot. The Prospector? I think that's what he wants. The Foreman, that's what he referred to himself as, the Foreman. And we read that in detail the last time we read SCP articles, and now we shall continue about the things that surround SCP-8306, namely the Black Lungs and SCP-8987. So without anything further ado, as always, my current status with regards to my unaffiliation is that I am waiting to receive the funds. They have progressed along the pipeline, so we are on track. And hopefully I'll receive them by next week, and by the minute I receive them, the email will be sent and the ads will cease to be. And I will stop having breaks that are determined based on an algorithm for a big purple company in the clouds in the sky, and instead the breaks will be dependent on whether or not I actually need a break. Which, you know, I think that I'll be able to do a whole 2 hours without having to stand up and stretch my legs, but we'll find out, won't we? Oh yeah, that's an update. Oh yes, actually, I just remembered that there is an update that I can give you. Due to the overwhelming funds that I received, thanks to all of your support, in the month of July, I've actually managed to fully fund, using your support, better tracking for my face. Namely, a second-hand iPhone that I will use to experimentalize with better face tracking. This face that I currently have is fully equipped with ARKit tracking. For those of you who don't know, ARKit tracking is an advanced form of tracking that allows the tracking software to utilize all facial flexes of the face. Like, I can't show it right now because it's very limited, but no, it doesn't work because the camera. Nope, doesn't work. My point is that my face might become better soon. And by soon, I mean when I release my 2.0 in October, which I'm hoping to be able to do by then. Hydration will be done in your name, Oscar. But yes, I was able to fund that fully, and it is on the way, and I will experiment with it and see how well it works. I have never owned an iPhone before in my life, so this will be the first. And this will probably be the only reason I would ever own an iPhone, because they have basically gatekept their face tracking technology, which is its own set of Black Mirror scenarios, but it makes for a killer VTuber app. So, yes. Hopefully that will be good. I keep purporting to say that all of the supporting and funding and money and all that goes directly back into the stream and making things better, like how I spend the generous donations that you gave me on the emote pack that I'm currently using. I paid an actual artist because I don't have faith in my 2D capabilities, even though I did make this model. But 2D is a whole different monster. I like shaping things and having them. I don't know how to explain it, but 3D modeling is much more my alley than 2D. 2D, you have to deal with perspectives and, what's the word? Proportions, that's the word. The word is proportions. You have to deal with perspectives and proportions. I like the shading parts and all that. Just you give me a fully sketched out thing and I'll probably be... Like, I'm one of those little kitties that fills out drawings that have already been lined in. So that part of the drawing process I can handle, but otherwise 3D is for me. Because that's kind of what 3D does. It basically outlines the thing for you so you can draw on it. I never actually thought about it that way. 3D art or 3D modeling is basically an advanced version of fill in the outline or the character. Or at least 3D texturing. But anyway, with 2D you have to simulate 3D. Yes, exactly. And I'm really bad at simulating 3D, and by bad I mean I never really took to studying it with utmost seriousness and the respect it deserves, because it is a substantial time sink, and I just couldn't do it because I'm... Unfortunately, one of my many personality defects is that I'm very adverse to things that are not fun for me. And if I can't see the benefits with finishing a project, I will probably not be very motivated to do it. 3D modeling is just color by number. That is a way to 3D model, yes. I do like the visual programs that allow us to simulate things, because I am a visual learner, and I do things visually. I like visuals. Visuals are my medium of expression, of communication, and so on and so forth. So I'm really glad that there are 3D programs that are available that allow you to visualize the colors and the numbers in space in real time. Anyway, hello, we're going to read some SCP, plus I hope there's no gold ship dropkick SCP going around. We'll find out, won't we, Layla? But welcome in, and thank you for stopping by. Deltor hath arrived, and you have arrived ×2 in both realms of projection and simulcastery. Daily bone total of 12 on one place, and daily bone total of 71 on the other place. Wowee! You are... I just realized this is actually a very clever strategy of you to corner the market, because eventually, if you keep getting the firsts and the dailies in both spheres, you might be able to come gunning for the Oskull throne of bone. We'll see what the future holds, but welcome in and thank you for stopping by regardless. I hope your Friday has treated you amicably. Gaming. This gaming. This gaming. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I have things, Oh yeah, so I guess the first system is different in the sense that the first system is not separate between the two streaming sources, but the daily counts separately. 2 whole seconds, Skull is slowing down. Oh. I don't think so, I think I'll prove you wrong next time, but I have to turn on my funny desktop crop. Hey look, it's my funny desktop crop. There it is. This is what we read last time. Isn't he beautiful? The Foreman. Foreman the Norman. Basically, to summarize what he's about, is that he is a spirit that inhabits a specific mining complex that has been bought out by the SCP Foundation. We read all of these beautiful things. There was something regarding the Black Lung, which we learned about from this article, but I can't see. Right. SCP-8306 is believed to be one of the first runs red anomalies to have manifested from SCP-8987. The moment you start should be the same moment Skull gets the bone. I mean, the problem with that used to be how things happen because I was running through the Twitch integrated redeem system, which it didn't matter. The minute the stream started was the minute that you could redeem it, and he did do that for the longest time when we were on that system. But unfortunately, due to my weird desire to be unaffiliated, he has to wait for the bots now. So I have unintentionally nerfed Oskull to not be as inhumanly fast as they could possibly be, which is my B. Oh god, it's the gold ship drop kick! Oh, who would have seen it coming? Hello, gold ship! Welcome in. It's always a delight. The numbers that I had as a summary of my last stream on the platform that you are currently dropkicking me on went wacky, and I was amazed at how high the numbers could get with all of the support from Layla, Goldship, Perry the Platypus, Walter White, Sonic, and so on and so forth. It has been an absolute delight to the senses to see funny number go up. So thank you, your support is very much appreciated, even if it does come in a dropkick form. I also, oh yes, the reason why I mentioned that I managed to fully fund better tracking, which will be integrated into the Bowenthius stream eventually, is because I tried messing around with this little thing, because I'm getting progressively sick and tired of it showing, like right now, showing middle fingers when I'm actually using my index fingers. Basically poor tracking. And the way I explain this to myself is because the camera's right here, so it's looking at me from the bottom up, which makes it so that it can't really see whatever the hands are, like this. So it rightfully is confused on which fingers I'm holding up. And I wanted to fix that, so I tried gluing it onto my monitor. I stopped doing that when I accidentally started damaging the monitor. It turns out that when you apply pressure to the bevels of a monitor, things start acting funky, which scared me a little bit, so I stopped doing that. But I managed to slap on the thing and glue it onto the monitor, and the tracking was absolutely abysmal. For some reason, this thing is just incapable of comprehension when the tracking is... You see, I'm holding it up right now, and it's facing forwards. I know that there's different settings for it, or... Allow me to explain that there's different settings. There's a desktop setting, there's a stand-up setting, but I tried those. And I tried configuration, and it did nothing. There. Hello, Deltor. Howdy. Hello. Hello. Welcome in. Hello. So I decided to revert back to the original version. So
There we are, me hearties, me boyos, me buckos, me laddies. I be wondering whether or not there be a future where, once I'm unaffiliated, there be still time for people to have VIP as a role. I presume that even though you are unaffiliated, you can still have VIPs and moderators and whatnot. That would make sense in the grand scheme of things. I do declare and I do believe. But anyway, let's get to reading about the origins of this little guy. So apparently he manifested from SCP-8987. So let's read about SCP-8987, shall we? Orogenesis.aic. Yeah. The thing that I am realizing about me beautiful ship sailing days is that they do tend to put a lot of strain on my throat, and I can feel the vibrations and the gargulations doing me a bit of a damage. So I need to figure out how to do a pirate voice without actually straining and damaging my vocal cords. I know they're simulated, but the pain is also simulated, and I don't like pain all that much. Yeah. For those of you not in the know, as you can clearly see, I've not got any throat or lungs or head or brain to speak of, but I feel everything twere I a normal human, because all of this magic that be keeping me alive is simulated in somehow. Nyar. You know you can have mods, we'll have to check about the VIP thing. I be flying by the seat of me pants, because I used to, this is another problem with me life, is that I used to go full ham and I used to put so much effort into things for a very vast amount of time and a very vast segment of me life. But then I was continuously disappointed by the lack of, what's the word, not compensation. The word I'm looking for is that when you do something, some reciprocation, that's the word I was looking for. I was continuously and constantly disappointed by the lack of reciprocation, because fair enough, I did put a lot of effort in, I did expect a lot in turn, and I should have lowered my expectations, and I should have done things not for the sake of reward or booty, but just for the love of doing the thing in and of itself. So it was a very wrong mentality to have back in the day. But unfortunately, as a byproduct of that, I find it very difficult to put effort into things nowadays. But that will be something. That is a demon that I have to combat on my own terms in the fullness of time. Anyway, Orogenesis.aic, salutations, draws. I am Orogenesis.aic, site 89Bs, set 898. That's 898, that's the site for the mining complex. Central Maintenance Intelligence. The documentation you have selected is of historical significance to the Department of Geology. I will guide you as you proceed. Thank you, floaty, glowy little eyeball. I shall proceed with your caution. Right, this is SCP item number 8987. Level 2 restricted containment class Aether. To rock and stone we bone into the mines. The Department of Geology. I wonder why they never employ the term and usage of the word geology within Deep Rock Galactic. That seems like a missed opportunity. Why don't they have a personality of dwarf that's actually a geology nerd? I guess that shows how much the actual developers themselves are interested in real geology. They just like diggy hole due to their Scandinavian heritage and whatnot. Yeah, right. Figure 1.1 is an acquired photo of the Red Brook mine. Its containment procedures are as follows. The information has been presented to the Foundation. The information that has been presented to the Foundation is currently under analysis. Work towards the gathering of further testimony is under the confirmation of existence of SCP-8987. They be nerds, just the drunken kind. That is true. That is very much an apt description that I would give to the development team due to their heritage and so on. I know them personally myself, so I cannot lay claim to the quality of their character, but based on stereotypes and circumstances, and also the game that they be playing, game that they be developing themselves, I can probably come to that conclusion, but it is circumstantial evidence at best. If anybody's going to ask what I'm doing with my hands right now, I'm playing with a rubber band because I have lots of things, actually all of which are undiagnosed, because in this household, we don't believe in diagnosis. We're just gonna pretend everything's alright until we collapse in the street, naked and alone, which is not the way to go. I would absolutely recommend against this in your own personal life. I be talking about dwarves. Well, I be talking about the developers, who are very tall, but good. It's good to have clarification and clarity on these things. Anyway, I'm gonna turn this off now. Reading! Description! I have multiple fans running. Turns out that actually closing my window had better effects on the overall ventilation of this room that I'm currently streaming from than having it open, which is strange to me, but anyway. Description. SCP-8987 is a series of alleged anomalous occurrences and phenomena within the Red Brook Mine, located in Dutch Mountain, Pennsylvania. Information pertaining to SCP-8987 was leaked to the Foundation on 03/05/1966. That is, hopefully if the dates are correct, the 3rd of May, 1966. By what appears to be an attempted whistleblower from Summit Anthracite, a Pennsylvania coal company that has been in operation since 1952. The Red Brook Mine is the only mine owned by Summit Anthracite. The POI who presented this information to the Foundation has yet to be identified. The report alleged the following anomalous activities. Notable loss of equipment, inexplicable alteration to pre-existing tunnels and mine shafts, deep vibrations despite a notable lack of tectonic activity, even when the detonations are occurring. The harvesting of minerals that the whistleblower could not identify, reported sightings of unknown figures, numerous other events that lack consistency or through line, and are seemingly random. The statement that the brook runs red was repeated. For some reason I read that as depeated. Well, the brook runs red was repeated multiple times within letter correspondence. This has been deemed noteworthy. All these events are claimed to have begun in early 1963, when the mine's deepest point reached a depth of 170 meters below the surface, and are still ongoing. However, due to the vague nature of the leak itself, truth and accuracy are up for debate. An investigation into the Red Brook Mine and Summit Anthracite is ongoing and primarily being led by the Department of Geology under the name Red Canary. I know of a canary, a Black Canary, which is a DC superhero. Yes. I remember Justice League Unlimited. Do you remember the JLU? It was a good time. It wasn't, like, earth-shattering and groundbreaking, but it was a lovely thing to have on in the background. Especially hearing the beautiful dulcet tones of Clancy Brown, who voiced Lex Luthor, and also Mr. Krabs. Did you know that Clancy Brown also starred in the Shawshank Redemption? That's a few fun facts for you. This is an edutainment stream. I can regale you in trivia all day. Investigation Red Canary, led by Dr. Julian Eden, head of the Department of Geology. On the 18th of May, 1966, a team of Foundation agents, footnote 2, primarily members of MTF Gamma 89, rockin' a hard place,
were dispatched to locate and enter Summit Anthracite's primary building. The intention of the mission was to gain access to the company's archives and search for any available information on the Red Brook mine. The brook runs red. There is a famous line from Hotline Miami 2, I believe, that is constantly being repeated, or Hotline Miami 1. I don't remember. Things meld together as time moves on and memories fade and become less clear. But the point that I'm trying to relate here is that there is a, do you really know what you're doing, or something like that to that effect? That is a line that I very much would like to remember. The Ohio is the real SCP location. Yes, everything takes place in Ohio. Welcome in, Oi Zaza. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by and for your continued patronage in the Annals of Bowenthius. Wait, the book is female, and why is it... that's why it's rad? I don't know, you tell me. Hope your day's been going well. Everybody's day should be going well, because life is a living torment, and we should strive to eke out what little happiness we can derive from the horrors of the world at large. We should strive to hold on to happiness, for it is a rare resource. One of exceptional value. Happiness, love, peace and love! I love peace and love. We all strive for it in our own ways, but somewhere along the way, we become lost and entranced by other things and other means, and we succumb to vices. Nobody's a villain of their own story. We all have our own perspectives. Yes, find that well. It will contain happiness and water. Water can be happiness if you're dehydrated. Speaking of dehydration, I am. Problem resolved. Right. The building was found to be completely empty. Red Canary report. We'd been prepared for standard procedure, had the fake papers and badges, everything that grant us legal access to their papers and allow us to stick our snouts where they don't belong. But that's not what we were met with when we opened up those doors. You just drank water. Well then. You're gonna... You silly Willy. I will hydrate in your name. That reminds me, I wonder if for the mix-it-up version of the Scion Sigils, whether or not the cooldowns on hydration are properly employed. There's only one way to find out, and we will find out in the fullness of time. Nobody wants to go through the effort of typing in exclamation mark hydrate when you can just as well press 2 buttons. 3 buttons if you need to scroll down. Probably not, but hey. That's where I'm beat. I guess it doesn't really have any flashy things, it just does the hydrate, so now I'll sip thrice for you. Once of my own accord, the second time... Wait, hold on. It should have... Well, actually, no, that's not fair, because you did the hydrate, and then you... Okay, there we go. Because you did the hydrate using Twitch, which activated normally, but then you did the hydrate using Mix-It-Up, which I don't know if those two things would work together, or if by doing hydration on Mix-It-Up, you cancel out the mug being in my hand, or it just didn't refresh the timer, and it just expired on its own accord. Mysteries for later. We will fix things as they come along. I cannot fix problems that I'm not aware of, or the ones that do not exist. I tried fixing problems that didn't exist. I just ended up with depression. Not repeating that mistake. The bones will become incredibly viscous. Yes. I forgot, but... What was her name again? There was a My Hero Academia character whose main power is having pink skin and spitting acid. Well, not spitting acid, but secreting acid. Forgot her name. But whenever I think of the word viscous, I think of her. Well, I know her name, Mina Ashido. Or was it Ashido? I think it was. But the point is, what was her hero name? Splinky, Flinky, I don't remember. Pinky. Yes, it was Pinky. There we go, that one. Eyeballs. Also, the reason it prompted me to actually spend the funds that you generously gave to me with regards to upgrading the equipment is... I don't like how weird my tracking is with regards to the blinks, and I'm finally doing something about it. Basically, the way it works is whenever you donate to me, I keep it in a stash, and whenever I feel like there's something that I would like to actually spend money on that would better the streams, I just do that, but otherwise it's basically savings for a rainy day, and that rainy day will be whenever I want new things that will ultimately better the streaming experience. Like, for instance, I'm not looking into a new keyboard, but I keep having spelling errors, and I can't attribute that to either my growing disassociation with my own body's nervous system, or the keyboard sucks. So, if I get a new keyboard and I find the same problems, I will know, but that requires a substantial exodus of funds, which I cannot currently afford. And yes, she is pink. She had a weird outfit. It felt like an outfit from Chowder, you know, where they had that really weird aesthetic where for some reason all of the textures on their clothes would move around. Her outfit reminded me of that. It was weird. It was weird! Anyway. Everything had been cleaned out. Whoever had been here left fast. Why donate when you can donut? Buy Bo and a donut. You mean like an acid trip? Yes, like an acid trip. Huh. I wonder if they actually intended for her outfit to resemble an acid trip. They probably did, but then again, her personality is very quirky, and sunshine and buttercups and all that. So I can't tell whether or not her outfit is an expression of an acid trip or her personality, or it could be both. It could very well be both. After all, if we manage to hit multiple goalposts along the way of creating a character, why wouldn't we? It's just extra cohesion. Like the cohesion of acid, which... not disassembles, but it breaks down the bonds of atoms and so on. It degrades them. Chemistry. It's a subject that I failed in. But that was years ago. I'm definitely smarter at chemistry now. Probably not. Anyway. Everything had been cleaned out. Whoever had been here left fast. We almost thought we had the wrong building for a moment, till I found the scraps of a poster in a dusty corner with the Summit's logo on it. Remember, the other class in Macha has a person that makes shrooms. Each class has its own drug. That is true. Also, she's absolutely terrifying, because she can make fungus grow in your lungs and kill you. That's an insane power to have. There's nothing more that I can add to that. She has the ability to make fungus metastasize and grow in your lungs. That is spooky and gross, and I don't like it. I don't like the other class. The other class scares me. They have a really cool leader, but otherwise they scare me. They also have that shadow guy. He's weird too. Adding her to your RimWorld playthrough. Honestly, if I had the ability to use the psycasts available in RimWorld to make a Mushroom-omancer, I would. But unfortunately, I don't think that's a thing. And I don't know if I can make it into a thing. Considering the problem with modding is that a lot of mods don't work with in-progress playthroughs. So, it's a good philosophy to avoid lots of breakage and problems, to essentially lock in your mods when you start your playthrough. And I've kind of done that, because I'm already on I finished part 2 on Wednesday this week. So, I will, ironically enough, like... The complete antithesis to what I'm literally just saying right now is I will be adding a new mod next time I play RimWorld, which is a little RPG thing that changes the way events are brought about. They basically give me RPG-style windows, which I think is cute. So I'm adding that, and it also works with in-progress playthroughs. To my knowledge, of course. I could very well break everything and we'll have to roll back, but we will find out in the fullness of time. Right. There used to be things here, that's for sure. I can tell where they used to be, where they used to store records and what used to be office spaces, imprints on the floor where storage once was, but it's gone. Oddest thing is, none of this is mentioned anywhere. It wasn't vandalized, that would have been reported. Dumpster in the back, lots empty. No small town news, no records of the company moving their headquarters, nothing. It's like they just vanished. Wowee, what were these guys called? Anthracite? Summit Anthracite is quite sussy right about now. Let's find out more. Ooh, look at all of these names. Red Canary, Operation Staff, Julian Eden, Marcus Ernest, Seth Miranda, Claire Ward. You remember these characters from the previous article that I did a week ago, don't you? Alfred Lynn, Rudy Weller, Derek Joyle. Derek Joyle? Derek Joyce. My apologies. Glenn Bird, Rosa Pierce, Irene Reed. That's a cool name, Irene Reed. Anyway. Hold on, I need to remember to breathe. Anyway. With the attempt to investigate Summit Anthracite's main building proving unsuccessful, Red Canary search moved to Dutch Mountain itself, the location of the active mining operation. On the 20th of May, 1966, an undocumented mine camp... Footnote 3. Wait, if there's footnote 2 and 3, where did I miss footnote 1? Oh, there's footnote 1. Footnote 1. Aether-class anomalies are only attested in as yet unconfirmed eyewitness reports. Oh! Get it? Because these reports are in the ether, so to speak. That's adorable. Good on them. Aether-class. Ether, Aether, Ether, Aether. I don't know how to pronounce it. Both are valid to my knowledge. I'm going wacko mode today for some reason. I don't even understand why that is. I don't know, I'm just in one of those moods. I'm feeling peculiar today for some reason. I cannot explain it. You'll just have to deal with it as we move along. Anyway. Mine camps are small company towns set up in proximity to mines to provide housing and convenience to employees. On the 20th of May, 1966, an undocumented mine camp, which is basically a residentiary for the miners, was discovered around Red Brook Mine. It appeared new but hastily constructed, and the deployed agents estimated that the area was housing up to 100 individual workers. This location was not present in any public records. Its construction appears to have been wholly unauthorized, or just unrecorded entirely. This discontinuity... I've never seen that word before. Discontinuity was reported immediately to Dr. Eden, who was chief communication for the investigation. Members of Gamma 89 were instructed to attempt to infiltrate the mine camp under the guise of employees and recover information from the surrounding housing. I love how this reads like a Hitman mission, where you have to infiltrate and do psyops and so on. It's very fun. They were to map the area and determine the equipment on site in tandem. The most notable discovery regarding the mine town and its operations was that, during day-to-day operations, they were excavating petrified wood alongside the anthracite coal. Anthracite sounds like a very cool name for an ore. I have no idea what anthracite is, and if you do, feel free to educate me. The following snippets are transcribed from recovered journal and paper fragments from Summit Anthracite miners that have been deemed relevant to Red Canary. I don't know why I'm rolling my R's. Like I said, I am peculiar today. Okay. The 14th of May, 1963. Timelines. This is truly the most relaxed I've ever been on stream. I treasure this feeling. Weather was fine, bit of a drizzle. But when the fog coats the mountain, I can't really complain. Looks downright lovely. Decent backdrop before throwing myself back into the depths for another shift. While digging, a buddy of mine was going on some spiel about ancient forests turned to rock. And those old plants that are what makes the coal. Petrified or something was the word he used. Apparently some folks are flooding wood in the muck or something. Guess trees can reach these depths. That, or he's just making some odd idle chatter to keep things interesting. There isn't much to talk down below sometimes. That, or people are just too tired to... People are just too tired to... Yes. I've been getting a rhythm, though. Get in, load coal, get out. Worried I'm gonna run myself raw with all the hand washing I do to get the dust off. Fog was still there when I got out today, and the cold felt nice against my face. I'd like to know that feeling. Been starting to get hot down here. Reminder, find the missing carts. I do appreciate whenever some articles employ, instead of having to use technical jargon and SCP-specific wording in order to get the point across, they use eyewitness quotes or eyewitness notes that basically explain the situations regarding an SCP in layman's terms. Which is fun. A fun way to get around having to jargonize everything. Ah, yes, the sunglasses. They are beautiful, are they not? I made them myself in approximately 20 minutes. I think the hardest part was actually making the texture work, because it's essentially 2 colors, and the texture is 2 pixels. Which makes sense when you look at the thing. But programming that in was the real challenge, because I'm not very great at texturing on Blender. That is, I think, I could say my weakest skill, especially since I don't even know what... how to make a high-fidelity model, and then texture it, and then dumb it down so it can render properly. I forgot. I'm so bad at that, I even forgot what the term was. Which is why I stick to low poly modeling, where I can just make the model, and then texture it, and then not have to worry about high-fidelity renders. And I forgot what the other term was, where you have that purple emboss texture plate. Yeah, I completely forgot what that's called as well. Can't do that either. Petrified of that as well. Modeling. It can be as complicated as you want it to be. Or as simple as your skill allows. Anyway. Right. Here we are. Dear Abigail. I'm gonna try a different voice for this one. I used to be able to do a very good Australian accent, but I've lost practice. So, I'm gonna try doing it now. If I offend anybody, my apologies. My deepest and most sincerest of apologies for what I'm about to do. Listen, I'm having fun, okay? Dear Abigail. I immediately lost it. Dear Abigail. Hold on. Get me green cue. I don't remember how I used to do these things. I'm just doing something off the... You know what? I'm going to make an accent, and you're going to determine where it's from. And based on what you say, I'm going to tell you guessed it right. Dear Abigail, have you been faring well out there? Been a while since I sent out a letter. A letter? A bottle of letters? Shipping a bottle? Crocky. Been a while since I sent out a letter. But they've had me working long, and it doesn't show signs of stopping on that side of things. Now I know it isn't proper manners of me, but I'm quite peeved at the changing of the guard that happened with the foreman. Robbed me the chance to give that bloke a piece of my mind. Blah. Wish that is highlighted. Wish that was the reason they sacked him. But the new fella seems to be much more of a piece of work than the last. Seems a richer blood, curls his lips at all of us. But it's how it goes in this business, I suppose. Did you know that they keep this is devolving into a weird British amalgam, which I don't approve of. Crikey, mate. Oh. That sounds right and proper, it does. I need to practice it more. The best way I can do a voice is I actually listen to somebody doing it properly, and then I emulate that, rather than having to remember what it sounds like off my undead beating heart. We're going on a proper Rick and Morty Outback adventure! Did you know that they keep birds down here? Little yellow ones with voices almost as sweet as yours. Apparently the reason they keep them locked down below is a bit grim. Oh, are you guys familiar with why they keep birds in caves? Is so when there's a gas leak, if the bird dies first, the miners know that they shouldn't go in there. The reason why this is a common practice is because people died in mines due to gas leakages and whatnot, which is not very fun, so they had to employ birds to be sacrificial lambs, essentially. At least that's what I understand to my knowledge of how that came about as a effective strategy of saving workers' lives in caves and mining complexes and all that. I'm peculiar today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway. To be fair, I am two guys fused into one, so maybe the split personality disorder is finally taking root. It took it long enough, so, that could be a valid explanation of what is currently happening. Did you know that they keep birds down here? Little yellow ones with voices almost as sweet as yours. Apparently the reason they keep them down below is a bit grim, but those little yellow buggers... Okay. Alright, I was justified in making my accent the way it was. Apparently, the reason they keep them locked down... keep them locked down below is a bit grim, but those little yellow buggers... bring a bit of life into things. You like them, I think. Canaries are what they're called. Never seen one till I started working here. But they use them to make sure the air ain't full of poison. Well, invisible poisons anyway. The coal dust's a whole other story. Quite glad I never fancied wearing white. Hope this reaches you in good health. Dean Milton. Have you heard of that? Bird is the word? A bird, a bird is the word. Yes, indeed. I have heard of that somewhat. I don't actually know whether or not it originated from Family Guy, but I've heard of it from there. Maybe I should actually just get to over-exaggerating my facial features. But then again, I don't emote with my face all that much, so honestly, me being stone-faced is actually accurate to me. It's not very entertaining, mind you, but it is accurate. Yeah. I don't know why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. Something broke while we were blasting for them whole. Okay. Downturn Nation. Something broke while we were blasting I'm gonna try that again. Something broke while we were blasting them holes. First we thought the dynamite struck one of their supports or it didn't go off right, but no, all blew. The snap had been something else. Cracked up the one wall, started leaking water. That ain't a surprise. Everything gets soaked down below after the rain works its way through the mountain. But when I got closer, it just wasn't right. Was this deep, stinking red. Almost brown. Alan said it was probably just from the iron in the walls. But iron stains orange. The brook runs red. The brook runs red. Figure 1.3. Foreman Keschner left in one of the mine's workers, right. Yes, you can tell because their faces are not obscured in any way, shape, or form. The dwelling of the mine's foreman, Theodore Keschner, was located 4 days into the investigation. The building seemed older than the surrounding company town, and is theorized to have been originally for storage before the camp's construction. The date of the conversion is unknown, as whether or not it occurred prior to the construction of the other encampments. Agent Rosa Pierce was able to secure several pieces of official documentation relating to Red Brook Mine, and provided scans of these documents before returning them to the building. These records included certification, accident reports, medical papers, and employee records. All information should have been held in Summit Anthracite's main building. Several relevant documents have been included below. Please view them, accompanying transcripts from additional notations. And the AI is here to help us with the document.
Employee records indicated a mass layoff during 1963, primarily a replacement of upper-level individuals/workers.
There we go. That's a voice I can do. Department of Internal Affairs. Oh, look at this. Mine Foreman Certificate of Competency. To whom it may concern, by virtue of the authority granted under the provisions of the Code of Pennsylvania, 1963, Title 14, Sections 33 and 32, we hereby certify that Theodore Keschner of Bethlehem, oh my, has satisfactorily passed an examination given by this Board of Examiners and furnished sufficient evidence of his practical experience in coal mining and his good moral character. We therefore grant to him a certificate of competency, signed and codified on the 15th day of August 1963. Secretary of Internal Affairs. Evil ads approach. They do. They are ads most foul, but unfortunately I am still affiliated and I must abide by the contract that I agreed to. And as such, enjoy some, or enjoy is a very strong term that does not reflect upon this in any way, shape, or form. But my point is, if you don't get any ads in this Twitch mandatory commercial break, feel free to enjoy Words on Stream, which we will have in place of continuing with this read, so people don't miss out. That's another reason why I don't like ads, because some people don't care for the sanctity of not missing out. And as such, they don't do commercial breaks when the ads are playing. But I do, because I don't like it when people miss out on things due to ads that they didn't ask for. Anyway, enough rambling. I do rambling, because I'm a rambly madman. Huh. Man, why am I here? Hell? What is this? Oh, wait. What is this? I came here to be tested. I don't what? Nani? What? What's going on up in here? This is very confusing. Hell? This is a new thing that's happening. I have been afflicted by confusion because I do not comprehend what is currently occurring. I can wholeheartedly tell you that I do not understand. Oh. I understand now. I figured it out. So I accidentally yeah, basically I left the game capture on without realizing that I should turn it off. And it started picking up my VTubing program, which crossed bounds with the other. I basically have too many sources, is the answer to my affliction. Okay, now I'm back here. That's weird that that happened. Oh well. Just a great way for me to showcase my cool transition. Ah. The source was found. Yes, the source of the problem was sources. I was gonna talk about how well we did during that Words on stream and how delicious paprika-flavored potato sticks are, but I guess OBS had other plans. Ah. Well, yes. We have a certificate of competency right here for Theodore Keschner of Bethlehem. Ooh. Is it hydration? Yes, it is. Hydration is quite delicious and quite important to the health benefits and sustainability of your vessel. Your sleeve. Your flesh vessel. Your meat suit that you are piloting with your bone mech. Your meat armor. Hydration has been done in your name, Deltor Age! Deltor Age! I need to also refill this cup with more youthful vigor. I'm sorry for accidentally confirming that I've actually been drinking from the Fountain of Youth because of my O5 Council designation. Listen, the water from there is delicious, okay? If you have perks on the job, wouldn't you use them? Anyway. Has been blending the youth into juice. I might. Fred Davis, William Dunn, Ernest Beardsley, Joseph Stomhauser, Stomhauser, Alfred Jensen, Kenneda, Jameson, Glenn Dennis. Another Dennis. Is that another Glenn Dennis? Oh, we had some fatals. Register of Mine Accidents. Anthracite Division. Ooh, this is unfortunate. Startled by whistling, victim dropped his pickaxe on his foot. Victim fell from Jay's rock. Premature blast. Suddenly suffocated. Black lung. Ah yes, the black lung. We need to read about the black lung. I don't know if it's worthwhile to read before or after this article, or during this article about the black lung, but we have the black lungs right here. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's very long. You know what? How about we read about the black lung now? Probably not a bad idea. I wouldn't know. But this is the path I will choose as soon as I read through this register. The laborer Joseph Stonhauser died at the age of 29 from suffocation. Responsibility, victim, equipment. Other. A rock slid off the piece of loose material. plus struck him. Official minor. The responsibility is to the official. Alfred Jensen, struck by falling rock while retrieving the wood at North Bend. He's a victim, and that's his responsibility. Premature blast. The equipment is at fault here. How did Glenn Dennis die? While standing on the platform in the shaft, victim stopped and stared down. And that was fatal? I guess he fell. Other. Caught in rockfall due to sudden vibrations. Victim. What the hell is this? Unavoidable. Inverted. Oh, he was inverted. A 52-year-old laborer by the name of Rexford Dexter was inverted. Responsibility unavoidable. The anthracite division is quite spicy. Premature blast. This one was a miner, and he fell to his death when the platform in the shaft... in the lost way? Blast way? Oh, I think it's supposed to say... Fell to his death when the platform in the shaft... You know what? How about we do the transcript? Fell to his death when the platform in the shaft gave way. I was completely in the wrong. Gave way. See, this is why I'm glad that we have transcripts. Struck by falling rock. Caught in the rock due to sudden vibrations. While standing on the platform in the shaft, victim stopped and stared down. And I guess the shaft ate him. What a shame. Right. Let's read about the black lungs. You don't have to tell me twice about the people who made that mine. Immediately, Marshall Carter in the dark hub. The hell is this? Oh boy, more reading. It's all about playing the game. Right. We're gonna keep going into the rabbit hole until we find the end of it. People who made that mine. Okay, here's the people who made that mine. Why do rich people care about making money? The poor certainly need to care about doing so. When one's resources are only enough to scrape by, money is all that matters. It is important for the middle class as well. Looking after their spouses, their children, there is a culture of dependence that weighs them down. The rich want to make money because they can always become richer. There is always another echelon of wealth to rise above. Some degree of opulence that is beyond their grasp. They drive to even further heights, seeking to slake their thirst for coin. They care about making money simply because they can. To do so, the rich exploit people far below them on the social ladder. Considering the fact that money is one of the most valuable things that we've built our society around, the fact that you can make more of it and abuse and swindle and so on and so forth just to be able to make more would probably send people into hysterics with how much power or a sense of power they gain just by making more money due to the very concept that they just can. They just have the opportunity to. For people for whom the opportunity to make money is scarce and they live from paycheck to paycheck, people being able to make money just because they can is the most powerful move you can have in our society. For those who value money, that is. For those who see it as the be-all, end-all. Which, unfortunately, a lot of systems do. Not my personal philosophy, mind you, but it is what it is. To oil the magnate, to the oil magnate, to the harsh dictator, to the kings and queens and lords and ladies, the common people are specks of dirt. To Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the rich are unto ants. Oh boy. Oh boy. People, regardless of social standing, are all the same. The poor may spend their savings on worthless yet treasured trinkets sold by the middle class. The salaryman may splurge on a pretty ring for his wife, the profits of which go into the pockets of a wealthy mining boss. In the same way, the gullible rich will burn millions of dollars on a single impossible object. Everyone is willing to waste their precious, precious money on something out of the ordinary. But value is artificial, yes. I agree with this sentence, singular, outside of context. The poor spend their pennies on mass-produced china, convinced that it has some worth to it. Okay, now you're just repeating the previous paragraph. The rich convince the middle class that diamonds are rare and valuable, despite the stones being retrieved in Africa by the billion. Marshall, Carter, and Dark convince the rich that the impossible is invaluable. While an artist? Oh, while any artist on a street can twist a die into a hypercube. What? The methodology of such a scheme is quite simple. But the critical step is to gain a market monopoly. If you are the only seller in town, you can set the price at any level you desire, so long as you can drum up demand. In this regard, Marshall, Carter, and Dark have the advantage. For hundreds of years, they were the only peddlers of anomalous wares in the world. Ooh. They had the time to gain the capital, and with that capital, they can now outprice even the most competitive upstart. While organizations such as the Foundation, the GOC, and the Horizon Initiative resent the company's existence, they are unable to deal with such an unassailable economic powerhouse. Oh god, these guys are SCP but capitalist. Horrifying. With a glance, Marshall, Carter, and Dark could level a city, bankrupt the country. With a single call, they could plunge the planet into thermonuclear war. Yet, to eternal relief of all, they are the least volatile players in the anomalous field. After all, if the veil of secrecy were to break, their trinkets would become worthless, their business would crumble and dissolve. While this may cause some to think Marshall, Carter, and Dark as a massive faceless corporation, their workforce numbers at most in the order of 100 personnel. Can I work for them? Their operations are directed and streamlined, maximizing efficiency and minimizing cost. Further manpower, if necessary, is outsourced from other organizations. Those in the highest positions of power are perhaps the most mysterious. Wild stories. These guys sound like actual threats beyond Immortal Lizard. Yes, Immortal Lizard is unkillable. These guys are legendary. But hello, odd bloke. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. Yes, I know you meant threats. I do not assume that you would like to eat these people, but then again, you might very well be hankering for that. I won't judge either way. I'm glad you understand. Man, these guys sound like hella snacks. Odd bloke coming in as the first message of the day. But I hope Friday has treated you well. As a mage, we should be looking at the ethically lab-grown anomalous to stop them cornering the market. We definitely ought to. Oh boy. Yeah. But welcome in, Asa. Thank you for stopping by. Hello. Hello. Yeah. See, this is... Well, actually, you know what? I brought this on myself. Anyway. If we could actually generate anomalies, we would have a substantial market. Hello! Hold on, let me pull the hands out to enthusiastically welcome you in as soon as they load in. Hello, Asa. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. I hope Friday has treated and will continue to treat you well, and if it has not, you can very well kick its ass. I believe in your capacity to do so. Ethical and SCP, even the ethics committee ain't all that ethical. I mean, ethics can only get you so far. You need to have a balance, and unfortunately, with balance comes the sacrifice of some ethics. Hopefully not all of them, some of them, like how in order to craft legendary tier amnestics, they need to constantly feed people to a giant underwater monstrosity and then scrape off the magical amnestic fluid that it produces upon consuming corpses. And by corpses, I mean live people. Have a good day today, Asa. This is a threat. This is a threat, and we have guns. Hold on, do I have the gun button? Gun button. That's not the gun button. That's not the gun button either. That's not the gun button. I don't know which one the gun button is. That's not the gun button. I do not know where the gun button is. I think I lost my... There it is. Ah.
If you don't have a good day, I'll find you.
That's a good attitude. Right. With a glance... While this may cause some to think Marshall Carter and Dark as a yada yada yada, further manpower, yada yada yada. Oh, there we go. Those in the highest positions of power are perhaps the most mysterious. Wild stories abound on the subject. Depending on the source, they may be ghosts or demons, old men sending messages from beyond the grave, faceless monsters from another world, or even shape-shifting lizard men. So in the SCP lore, Marshall Carter and Dark are essentially snake oil SCP salesmen that sell anomalies to turn a pretty penny. Because at the end of the day, what everybody needs is capital. So very much like how in the current part of the page, my horns are directly lining alongside the words that, well, they stopped doing that, but that looked cool when I'm breathing in because I have breathing. Contrary to popular reality, a major part of their operations is establishing supply lines between various anomalous groups. Marshall Carter and Dark purchase directly from groups such as Dr. Wondertainment and The Factory, reselling their goods at exorbitant markups. Prometheus Labs gladly supply the group with their latest research in exchange for samples of exotic and complex anomalies. They often host ANART, is that anomalous art exhibitions, exerting notable control of the artistic marketplace. Similarly, they host various social functions for the most rich and powerful people in the world, with hooks throughout Europe, America, Russia, and China. There is never trouble finding a market for a given item. They are, of course, willing to sell to any buyer. Groups such as the Chaos Insurgency are some of their most valuable clients. Ah, so these are the suppliers of anomalies. They are the dank anomaly salesmen. Perhaps the organizations most opposed to Marshall Carter and Dark are the Mana Charitable Foundation and the Serpent's Hand. We know about the Serpent's Hand. They're anomaly hippies. Mana Charitable often attempts to sabotage their operations due to the restrictions of anomalous goods to the upper class. However, their limited range of resources makes them more irritating than threatening. The Serpent's Hand, meanwhile, are directly and openly antagonistic, caring neither for the veil of secrecy or the company's continuing practice of anomalous human trafficking, and impossible to economically intimidate. They represent the only pervasive threat to the group's operations. I want to join the Serpent's Hand. Without question, well, actually, no, we learned that the Serpent's Hand isn't an organization that you join. All it takes for you to think that you are part of the Serpent's Hand and you are part of the Serpent's Hand. So, I'm in the O5 Council and in the Serpent's Hand. I'm collecting memberships like gym badges from Pokemon. It's amazing. Without question, Marshall Carter and Dark are one of the most important pieces on the chessboard of the anomalous world. If a serpent has a hand, then it's not a lizard. Well, I mean, the thing about snakes is, if I recall correctly, again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is that they used to have limbs and hands and feet, and then those were lost due to evolution. I don't think that's correct, but I think it is. So, did they oh yeah, serpents. Is the definition of a serpent a limbless snake creature? Is that what a serpent is? I guess the whole reason why they're called the Serpent's Hand is because it's a oxymoron. Serpents don't have hands, therefore that's an anomaly. A serpent having a hand is by itself an anomaly. Very clever on their part. A serpent is a snake. Are all serpents snakes, and are all snakes serpents? Are there things that qualify as a serpent but not a snake, and things that qualify as a snake but not a serpent? Is a serpent synonymous with a snake, or is there a distinction between the two definitions? All these questions and more will not be answered here and today. Occasionally putting other players into check, but never into mate. For Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the planet is an intricate network they have secured safely beneath their thumb, where winning and losing are meaningless terms. There is no need to move pieces when you can move the board. When you can end the match at any time, there's only one reason to continue. It's all about playing the game. Wow. These guys are terrifying. Actually terrifying. Endlessly adapting lizard? Hold on a minute. The endlessly adapting lizard sounds like... oh no. A lizard that adapts to changes to fit the environment. Feeding is possible, but not necessary, and with its small size, it seems to have grown several hundred times bigger than its original size. It is a good pet, although also has high intelligence. Huh. So this is what they think of, which SCP-683, I think, is the number designated by the Foundation, before I guess it was acquired by these guys. They sold it for 500... wow. Endlessly adapting lizard. Price? 500k. You'd think it'd be worth millions, but apparently not. I guess it's just a commodity to them. Interest low. See, I guess that's why. Some guy who didn't give his name came and donated this product with a few lines of explanation. It looks like an ordinary lizard, but we did some experiments on this lizard based on what the anonymous donor said. It looks like it has surprising regenerative capabilities and can change and adapt to its environment, so I think it'll be sold at quite a price. I thought of producing endless meat by exploiting its regeneration, but Carter said it tastes like garbage to the point where it makes you vomit. So I'm having second thoughts on that idea. Personally, it might be useful for torture. These guys are not the good guys, are they? Not at all. The lizard might seem like a small cute lizard, but its power is not. It doesn't require food and has regenerative abilities alongside with the ability to adapt to its environment. So you'll be able to handle it as you see fit. If you want a cute pet, keep giving affection to it, and if you want a strong reptilian bodyguard, teach it a few exercises. This lizard has high intelligence, so it will know whatever you want. It will know whatever you want from it and adapt accordingly. Oh yeah, because it's endlessly adapting. Marshall, Carter, and Dark LLP does not take responsibility for damages caused by inadequate raising. Oh, there we go. The auction sold for £1 million. To Jen Wilton. Beautiful. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So, these guys kind of suck. We were talking about the black lungs. You don't have to tell me twice about old people who made that mine. Okay, so this mine was originally created by Marshall, Carter, and Dark. I've seen what they've done to folks. Dr. Atticus Rune is not a man unfamiliar with the oh wait, this is not a quote anymore. Dr. Atticus Rune is not a man unfamiliar with the horrors and the wild. Not in all of his years of living amongst these woods and these mountains. And all they held within their breadth. And thus, he is not unfamiliar with what sat before him. SCP-8306, though Site-898 more often than not simply called it the Foreman. The ragged, coal dust covered form of something that looked like the mind's eye version of an old mine worker. Like the type of not person you'd catch in the corner of your eye in a dream, with empty holes for eyes and a gaping maw. It's describing this, by the way. Very nice visuals. The being sat perched on a boulder by the side of the brook, bent forward with a dusty hand braced on one knee, like the way an old man leans in to listen. The foreman had barely any expressions to read, but the rune could interpret intrigue in the way that he spoke. Sounds like you got a story, son. A voice like mud over cobblestone. Rune squeezes his eyes shut, his inhale and exhale fogging in the foundry air. 'Cause I do too.
I do too, absolutely.
In a moment, nothing short of impulse, Rune deactivates the camcorder. Its shutter thunks, and he lets his arms fall to his sides. He can tell them the battery died. Wherever this was going, security didn't need more than a verbal summary. The foreman notices his deliberate choice and hums, awaiting response. With a sigh, one is supplied. On this mountain, with the roaches like that, I bet you got plenty. Rune scoffs tiredly. He's hesitant to look this thing where its eyes should be, but slowly raises his head. The foreman pushes off the rock, heavy boots hitting the muck with a thud. He approaches Rune, a raspy hum rising in his throat.
Why don't you tell me yours,
The entity walks a few steps past the doctor before turning to look over his shoulder.
We can walk and talk. It's a crisp morning, after all.
Rune watches, inhaling daybreak dew and breaching it back out.
You're right,
he replies.
It is a nice morning.
He takes a few steps through the mud after the figure, but catches himself glancing over his own shoulder, back towards the site. The hesitation doesn't last long. Pocketing the dead camcorder, Rune follows the foreman into the mist rolling down the mountain, between the trees and over the bog.
Do you know anything about those things those barons do outside these parts?
Rune asks after a time, the slice only punctuated by the sounds of their feet and the cawing of crows. There's a faint squelch as the foreman cocks his head to the side.
They infest these mountain like maggots. Tear 'em up and all she's worth, though I've only seen what they've done to this place.
The entity raises a mud-coated hand to gesture back towards Dutch Mountain, back towards the mine. The foreman trudges through the ankle-deep mud. The ankle-deep mud as he walks the conifer-lined and moss-filled swamp. He seems to ignore the bog bridges that the site has constructed for their own ease of travel. Rune disregards them too for now, wanting to remain in step with the being beside him. It's polite.
Won't surprise you to hear that they do it up and down the coast, and they're pulling the same as what I read about this place.
Rune murmurs.
Break your back and kill your lungs, all for what might as well amount to monopoly money.
He scoffs and shakes his head. He can taste coal dust on his tongue. It's a bitter familiarity.
Point is, they leave a lot of desperate folks in their wake. Desperate people that are willing to do just about anything for money.
Yes, I found myself in a circumstance where people thought that I was one of those people, but luckily I have the privilege of saying no to horrifying circumstances that would basically be modern-day slavery. Partially due to all the support I get from all of you on this platform, that other platform, the lovely person that subscribed to my Streamloots, streamloots.com/Bowenthius, and all the generous donations on Ko-Fi. All of you grant me independence and the ability to survive in the modern world, for which I am infinitely grateful. A gurgling sound rings out, torn between a phlegm-filled cough and a bitter laugh that melts into a squelching of the foreman's boots in the muck.
It doesn't surprise me one that there's more of them blinking bastards than some in anthracite. A little rat that used to rule these parts always spoken his bosses. And his bosses.
The entity shakes his head before turning to peer at Rune again with empty eyes.
I reckon you're from these mountains by the way you talk. That right, son?
Just about as local as someone you can get for stolen land. Rune chuckles tirelessly and continues to avoid eye contact. Oh, the spinning. Oh, the spinning. I'm avoiding eye contact right now. Hold on. Here's how I can avoid eye contact. That's hilarious, isn't it? Wait a minute. Oh, I was confused for a second because I saw double shoulders there for a minute. Eye contact avoided. Ain't I a stinker? Anyway. Hydration! It shall be done in the Spinio Skull's name! Beautiful, glorious hydration! Oh! Oh, hydration! Where are you, Mr. the Hydration? There you are. Ah! Delicious, nutritious, foundational, and fictitious. Haha. They're a whole organization. Fucks you and I have been dealing with are all a small part of it here. Alright, so this is Marshall, Carter, and Dark territory that we've stumbled upon. Hello, Irish Viking. Welcome in. Hello. I apologize that I didn't catch you saying hello last stream. I realized it too late. But your presence is appreciated all the same. I hope Friday has treated you well. Well, where was I? The foreman tilts his head, continuing to gaze at Rune as they trek deeper into the swamp. He brushes a hand against a moss-covered boulder as he passes, streaking cold mud across it. Thieves and fools, the lot, he huffs. May the mountains be unkind. The coal-bed swamp is quiet aside from the two. No birdsong, no rustling. Rune is familiar with the little yellow birds that are typically in abundance, but this morning, they're absent. It's not natural for the forest to be so quiet. Rune knows that much, and it rings louder in his ears than any noise could. All of a sudden, he's hyper-aware of his surroundings, scanning the landscape and itching for sound. Usually they are. It can tell when the wait, hold on. Is this... I can't tell. I can't tell who's speaking here, so I'm gonna go with this voice. Usually they are. You can tell when the folks they've got have no idea what they're doing. Makes it real easy to spot them, but then it's worse when they turn around and use the locals to get what they want. It's what they did... It's what they did by me. That's what they did by me. The conifers blot out most of the morning light. There's still fog curling around the branches and mossy rocks. The only sounds are from the foreman. Low and wet wheezes accompanied by footsteps in the brush. The entity lets out a low groan. That's so. The intrigue is back in his voice. Yeah, down south a ways. They proposing and pay the people most willing to catch and sell their own local legends. Items, animals, people, you name it. If it weren't normal, they'd take 'em for a hunk of cash. When the woods are this quiet, it usually meant a predator was around. The wheezes and... Oh, sorry. I didn't realize where the quote ended and where the actual... where the regular text began. When the woods are this quiet, it usually meant the predator was around. The wheezes and groans, being the only thing to break the silence, made Rune wonder if the man next to him was that. Till I ratted him out, that is. Oh, so this is the guy who gave the SCP Foundation the anonymous tip. The Aether... not configuration... classification. Huh! Blew out a little whistle on him, did you not, son? The foreman barks a laugh. There we go. That's a foreman laugh. He gives Rune a hearty pat on the back. It leaves coal dust on his coat and knocks Rune off balance. He slides forward through mud before catching himself just in time to not fall face first. The spectre continues. Good on you, good on you. Good on you, good on you. Did you catch the name of the bastard you smoked out? A tilt of the head, a crack of the neck. Rune's eyes stick to the ground now, watching his step. The veiled name they were working over was Gunstone LLC, or something like that.
Foundation thinks they might have had a connection between them and what happened here.
Huh.
The entity makes a low noise. Hand returning to his side.
Can't say that name rings any bells, but I wouldn't be surprised none if they're two heads on the same snake.
That's actually quite a clever analogy he's got going on there. I like this anomaly. This is the most personality an SCP anomaly's ever had, in my opinion. From the ones we've read so far, anyway. Well, that's relieving. Means that ain't something like it. That means there ain't something like it happening up here. Rune shakes his head and grimaces. It'll be too soon if I ever see nothing that depraved again. And Foreman continues through the swamp, leading Rune to an opening in the trees and rock. There's an old rotted campsite at its heart. The sight makes Rune raise an eyebrow. Is this marked down on any of the maps? Is it important enough to be? To be damned? The barely maintained remains of a fire pit, decayed logs around it, and a tattered mossy linen tent. Yes. The only thing that looks like it's seen use in the past years is the fire pit, little embers dying out at its base. The foreman makes a raspy hum and approaches it.
I wouldn't get your hopes up,
he says.
They were sending what they robbed from here up north, cross state lines. Maybe to the cities, maybe somewhere else, out of my reach regardless.
Rune nudges at one of the logs with his foot. Checks out, he sighs. There was no consistency to where Gunstone sent things, but it sure as hell wasn't anywhere close. There's a bit of silence before Rune sits himself down. I'm guessing you like to stay local then, if you don't mind me asking anyway. A low gurgling sound, seemingly one of contemplation.
I could go walking down past the Mason-Dixon line if I so please, but I prefer to stick around these parts.
The foreman pokes himself into an old tent, removes a box of matchsticks from somewhere. Rune can't see in the low light. He sits in the dirt as he strikes it. He uses it to reignite the embers. A small fire starts to grow.
Besides, there's work to be done.
Rune's surprised that the fire stokes to life considering how rotted and damp this all is. His eyes settle on the flames.
Work to be done.
He echoes, then huffs.
Right. MC and D. They'll be they'll be back for this place. If not for the mine, then everything has been holed up here.
Oh wait, no, that's the other guy. Oops. Right. MC and D, they'll be back for this place. If not for the mine, then everything has been hauled up here. The foreman laughs.
Foundation might have declared war in their eyes when they took this place. Blue hoods never like to be undermined.
The entity then leans forward.
Will you fight if they come? Sounds like you have been already.
The foreman cocks his head to the side. Rune nods without a second hesitation. Course. Gosh. I've been on their asses for years now. I'm not gonna stop the second they roll up, he retorts angrily.
You still haven't told me your own story.
The entity points out, waving a mud-encrusted hand at the man. Rune's mouth pencils shut. He sits back, feeling exasperation seep into his bones. They mentioned bones in an SCP article. I am pleased. Heavy air. He's too tired to keep nodding the question off. What I'd give for a drink right now, he sighs to himself before rubbing his face and adjusting his glasses in the process, looking back up to the curious thing before him. Stop me if you've heard this one before. He jokes tiredly, raising one hand and letting it flop back down. My pa was an Irish immigrant. My ma was native. Neither were rich, but my pa worked in the mine, so it kept us afloat. Whatever the hell a float is in a mining town, he scoffs. Till he got a leg injury in an accident, that is. Destroyed him. Got him unemployed and kicked us out of home. The painkillers they gave him for the injury fucked him up in the head. Pipelined him to horse shit. The foreman wheezes in a breath.
On the Bowenthius channel, you get live recreations of flavor text. Rune wrings his hands around one another.
So how I know about how gunstone works? He was desperate for money, and they had it in droves. If he could give them any anomalous thing he could get his hands on, so he did.
As Rune speaks, the entity across from him crosses his legs and leans forward a little, simply making a quiet "oh" in response. Rune bites the inside of his cheek, trying to choose words carefully.
Started out small, first little items and trinkets, I imagine. I didn't know, till Ma left him over it. I wish I had.
He rubs a hand against the side of his head.
Maybe then I could have stopped him from graduating to selling off living things. I just don't mean animals and haints, either. I lost people, friends who had no business being brought and sold. They were probably.
Oh, man. Wait. Alright. There is venom on his tongue while he speaks, free hand finally gripping at the side of the log so tightly his knuckles turned bone.
Bone? Found out what my pa was doing the hard way, and when I did, I blew the whistle on him, having stopped since. Those bastards want my head on a pike, but the Foundation fancied me a reliable source of information, so now I'm here.
Cracking embers waft out onto the fire, onto the dingy ground, on the dingy ground. And Rune watches their lights go out.
Satisfied?
For a moment, the only thing that breaks the silent woods is the foreman's rasping breaths. There's a pair of deer down the path. They are still.
I see!
The entity's head lowers, his voice is suddenly far quieter, somber even.
You got a wound in your belly that many do. I saw men fester and fall apart on these grounds from 'em. 'Cause no one was there to help clean out the shit. And got in their lungs, got in their heads.
He coughs.
When they force you to bow so low, you end up drowning in the muck.
Yeah, well, I'm not letting them do that no more. Nah, when I can help it, Rune retorts. Something tells me we're alike in that way.
Rune dips his head low, a silent gesture of respect. They exchange delicious kiss, even though the foreman doesn't have any lips. He tries to ignore the deer. The safety net is fleeting. He is already too aware of what lies out in these woods. SCP-6448. Oh boy. Another tangent. We are going from tangent to tangent. So this was an original tangent for SCP-8306, and then we went into tangent 8987, and now from the branching tangents, we're going into a tangent on top of a tangent. It's like saying the word tangent, okay? Leave me alone. Oh, Lord have mercy. Right. So what the hell is a super-possessed death deer? Keter class doom deer. A Kenic disruption class. Warning. Oh boy, this one's actually dangerous. SCP-6448 instance imitating a non-anomalous deer. Oh, it imitates things. So in the woods that currently our protagonist of the story is conversing with another SCP, there exists this thing. SCP... containment procedures for it. SCP-6448 should be focused. 6448. 6448 sounds fine. Should be focused on investigation of deer exhibiting anomalous traits within the road of around the Appalachian area. Of course. Appalachia is a mountainous region in the eastern United States that is known for its dense woodland. Hope it's being preserved and not being destroyed for its natural resource and beauty. All civilian sightings of SCP-6448 should be attended by the Mobile Task Force Gamma-4 Green Stags. Possible deaths resulting from SCP-6448 should be attributed to hiking accidents and sightings that are blamed upon chronic wasting disease. CWD, sometimes called zombie deer disease, is a prion-based illness affecting members of the Cervidae family. It causes extreme loss of motor function control, may affect decision-making, and is always 100% fatal. While CWD is a legitimate disease, the majority of cervids in Appalachia exhibiting traits are known instances of 6448. Site 44 Cryptozoology Division is tasked with ongoing research into the not deer phenomenon. Should SCP-6448 instance be captured, it is to be brought to Site 44 for containment and study. Site 44 is located in Essex, England. See history for details. An instance of SCP-6448 attempting to communicate with non-anomalous deer. It's standing on 2 legs. That's adorable. Description. SCP-6448 is an anomalous branch of the Cervidae family. Most commonly known as deer, this includes true deer, muntjac, reindeer, elk, and moose. All members of this group display heightened intelligence and are presumed to be sapient. This reminds me of that character from Adventure Time who took away his hooves. It was a deer, but he took away his hooves to reveal that his hooves were actually just caps and he had real humanoid hands. And he did... Hold on, let me demonstrate what he did when he took off his hooves to reveal that he has human hands. He did this with them. It was... the hand deer, yes. He did this. Like, he took them off like gloves and he started doing this. It was very creepy, but also mesmerizing simultaneously. Not the hand deer! Yes, the hand deer. They are very handy... many specimens exhibit some form of physical malformation, causing them to stand out from non-anomalous deer. While the exact details of physical abnormalities differ between instances, repeat commonalities are as follows. Legs bent backwards. Barrel-chested, bloated abdomen. Emaciation. Eyes belonging to unrelated animals. Forward-facing eyes, jerky movements, loss of fear towards humans, tendency to walk on 2 hind legs. General bodily disfigurement. Aside from physical disfigurement, instances show severe divergence from the behavior of other cervids. Namely, SCP-6448 are known to observe, stalk, and pursue humans, often for hours or days. This includes following humans to and from their homes, wherein they proceed to steal belongings, weapons, and food. Very rarely will SCP-6448 attack victims while they are indoors. SCP-6448 are most commonly encountered in deep woodland, particularly at night or dusk, when a person is alone. Any form of direct acknowledgement of SCP-6448's anomalous traits in these situations will always result in the victim's termination. I guess they don't like being told that they don't pass off for regular deer. Though treating SCP-6448 instances as normal cervids triggers no reaction. In such situations, personnel are to observe the exact of service protocol attached to the file immediately. These actions should be carried out by anyone inadvertently interacting with SCP-6448 and are necessary for your survival. Please skip to the section with relevant information if your life is under threat. If you notice a deer that seems off, look away and ignore it. If it knows that you've noticed it, it's too late. If you hear your name whistling or something else in the woods calling for you, don't acknowledge it. Never acknowledge it exists. Don't respond. Don't go looking for it. Don't call back to it. If you're walking at night and you feel something breathing on your neck or whimpering behind you, the key to your safety is pretending that everything is normal. Your survival is dependent on your ignorance, or your ability to convince whatever wants to eat you that you are ignorant of it. Presently, SCP-6448 are known to inhabit only the Appalachian region of North America. Under review following Incident 6448 Alpha. They've spread! History. 6448 was officially assigned anomalous classification in 1980, though they have been recognized by local police since 1947. SCP-6448 is a firmly cemented figure in Appalachian folklore, known colloquially as the Not Deer, due to their striking similarity to the species they imitate. Many locals claim they have encountered instances of 6448 or possess knowledge of an individual who has. Oh my god, the Not Deer! It is the oh my god, the Not Deer! It's true, it's true! Also, welcome in, Esmire. Did I boast to you yet that the fact that you've managed to support me so vehemently over the month of July has allowed me to facilitate better tracking for my face? Because all the money that I receive in support of these endeavors goes right back to the stream and supporting the stream. So I bought a used iPhone to be able to use ARKit tracking for better face. Isn't that fun? I hope it's fun. Yay! Thank you for your support. Anyway. Also, hope Friday's treated you well, and thank you for stopping by. Ew, I mean iPhone. I know, I have the exact same reaction, to be honest. I've never owned an iPhone before, out of sheer principle. I do not care for that company, and I would sooner excrete worms from my empty eye sockets than purchase any of their products, but unfortunately, they have essentially gatekept the facial tracking technology behind their products. So the only way to access this level of fidelity, akin to girl DM streams, is to own an iPhone. I believe that there are some modern technological advancements with AI tracking, or something of such, but I don't think the technology is there yet. So unfortunately, due to my own ignorance on the subject, I believe that the only way to go is through the means that I've already sunk your money into. Hopefully, it won't be a waste. At the very... I think the thing that brings me solace is the fact that I will never in my life use it as an actual phone, and it will instead be a pseudo-camera that will be used for facial tracking and nothing else. That is all it will be. I already bought a stand for it, and it will just be an attachment to a stand, like the lamp from the Pixar logo. That is all that it will be, a stationary, constantly plugged in, and constantly charging apparatus that allows for better tracking. It is not an iPhone to me, and that's how I'm accepting the fact that I spend money on an iPhone. Oh, my principles, how they can be swept aside or skewed. Anyway, where were we? A majority of local communities living in rural areas of high activity are aware of the precarious precautions required to avoid hostile encounters, primarily due to the urban legends and stories involving the entities. Hello, Saba Abashidze? That's a fun name. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. Greetings. Greetings. Right. Okay, so we've learned about the knot deer, so that's what was there. Sika deer, red deer, white-tailed deer, elk. Oh, right. Okay, so these things are monstrosities that disguise themselves as deer. Noted. Right. I would read more about the knot deer, but it's just that that's a tangent within a tangent within a tangent, and I want to get back on track. Anyway. He tries to ignore the deer. This safety net is fleeting. He was already too aware of what lives out in these woods. Not deer is what lives in these woods. The only thing that dares to show its face to a predator in silent woods is another. Damn straight! The foreman lets out a bitter chuckle, half choked by phlegm. Phlegm.
I could chase him out on my lonesome, but I did what I could. Sent the bastard they put in charge down on it and choking on it to his grave.
The apparition stands. Okay, so it's good that I actually read the original article before reading this one, because the original article features him choking the original owner to death while everybody in the SCP faction stood and watched. The apparition stands, body creaking like old wood. He removes the lantern from the remains of the tent and kneels down by the fire to burrow embers.
Eyes for eyes, breath for breath.
Twitch mandatory commercial break for Twitch mandatory commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages. Feel free to continue the spree and words on stream. But until such time has passed, we will be on break. Good enough, I reckon. Welcome back, everybody. I saw your suggestion, Saba. I have put it down as a tab, and I will get to it in the fullness of time. It is pending, SCP-7775. Thank you for the suggestion! Alright. Where were we? Ah, yes. Oh, good. He sees the animals, too. Or at least that's what Rune assumes as he watches the entity work to light the lantern. He stands and brushes himself off. Honestly, I love how many SCPs are spins of folklore. I mean, they are basically very much intertwined, aren't they? Wherein a lot of popular legends and so on are anomalies in of themselves, and, well... that is essentially what the SCP is. The SCP Foundation is. It's a collection of folklore written by people or just noted down across the ages that has been transcribed from person to person and retold and reshared across the ages, and the SCP Foundation just denotes it, writes it down, takes its own spin to it, but ultimately it is there for the preservation of these beautiful tales, folklores, legends, anomalies, and so on and so forth. It is, I think, a very worthwhile endeavor to be a member of the SCP community, because it is a community of culture. There's no better way to put it. It is a culture that I respect. So, hear me out. Maybe the nut deer just needs a hug. I mean, you could, if it's breathing heavily just behind you and you can feel its breath on your neck, you could very swiftly turn around and hug it. I don't know if that will entail your survival, but you can very well do that as your last course of action in life. Good on ye, Rune breathes with a nod. Someone had to do it.
Is the Foundation joining the hunt too?
He sticks his hands in his pockets. I've caught word that the old Red Canary investigation is getting revived. Little trinkets, traces of operations, things that have cropped up over the years. Like you, the foreman looks up.
Like me.
Rune sighs, gaze cast low. And the lantern's light starts to steadily flicker to life.
Thanks for humoring me and all that. Well,
Foreman rumbles.
Ain't too often folks come to for a talking despite my interest in your affairs here.
Course, a happy accident, but I don't mind, Rune replies. Despite the foreman's claim, Rune doesn't think he's a haint. Oh, I don't know what a haint is. Supernatural, sure, but it doesn't seem like the right category to place him into. If there is a right one at all. Been good to see you with my own eyes. There's a faint, rasping chuckle from the entity. Foreman then glances once more, pushing up to his feet with a grunt. He stares down the path.
You best be moving along now.
The two animals are facing them now, turned bodily to be staring straight down the path. The deer casts no shadow, cloud covers, turn the morning dark. The foreman huffs, then turns to Rune, extending the old lantern to the man.
Take this for the walk back.
Rune hesitates, but doesn't need to be told twice. He grips the rusted handle. Hears its squeal in protest. It's warm, the fire within squirms. Rune mouths his thanks and dips his head.
Just leave it by your window. I'll be back for it.
The entity remarks, shifting to face the deer with backwards limbs. Rune keeps his mind as he turns his back to the barely deer and the mine spectre. He hurries back the way he came and ignores the murmuring on the wind that trails his steps. The lantern with writhing fire swings in his grasp all the way back. Dr. Rune later stated,
We shared
common ground. Oh. So this, oh, so this is an extension. I see. So this is an extension of this instance here. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? I remember it somewhere. I'm just gonna do... We shared. There it is. Oh. Recording is terminated. There it is. When questioned on a sudden... so this story that I just read was a continuation of this exchange. This exchange. Okay. When questioned on the sudden end of the footage, Dr. Room claimed the camcorder had died. Supposedly, he gave his account of an encounter with Marshall Carter and Dark... With a Marshall Carter and Dark operation based in Virginia known only as Gunstone LLC. Before departing, Dr. Roon later stated we shared common ground. Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Right, so that's the... I thought this was going to be talking about what the Black Lungs exactly is. In relation, because of that one guy who died to Black Lung. I guess you could die to Black Lung and it's not anomalous. What are you trying to do, Esmire? Please share with me and I shall share with you the actual commands. Just let me quickly scroll down to... Because I've written them down. I don't remember what they are specifically. Because I've written them down, so I don't need to commit memory to that specific goal. What was the one where you get to see your daily bones? Well, daily is where you get to see how many you have and check which one you got. So that one. So daily. Yeah, that one. There you go. Are you checking to see if I added any more? I was going to, but then I couldn't find the document outside of the one that I found for you on stream. And I ran out of time because it was time to be a streamin'. So. Where was I? Oh, yes. A bunch of medical records that show that they're horrible creatures. Oh, yesterday I got a rib, now I got a collarbone to support it. Hell yeah, you'll be able to make a full human being skeleton soon. Probably, maybe. Considering the fact that I'm basically teaching you the methods of controlling bone as if it were clay, you could very much mold it into whatever the hell you like. Like me, I'm molding my face right now into movable... something that gives off the impression that this is actually the way I speak, rather than it being a clever illusion. Confirmation in the involvement of the group of interest known as Marshall Carter and Dark in the operations of Red Brook Mine via the purchase of Summit Anthracite as a front lends heavy credence to the presence of anomalous activity within the mine. Well, you can't say that and not show the class how you really speak. Well... I mean, that would require a substantial amount of effort that is currently not envisaged for this stream. And hydration shall be done. The way I normally speak, the noise is just being transmitted. Essentially, if I just have my... The quality is bad, just a little... We'll get on to that. Because that you could be referring to a lot of things there, Saba. But I have hydrated in your name. Oskull. Specifically Oskull. Because Oskull redeemed the hydrate redeem. And I have a mug. I have a mug for it. Also, if you're referring to the quality of the stream, that is probably due to the fact that I am streaming to multiple platforms and my internet is not that great, so this is... probably a reason. I do not know what other thing you could potentially be referring to. It is what it is, ultimately. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. The way I really speak would just be a blob. Just the blob is just transmitting sound. You can hear the sound, but you know that the sound is being emitted from the red. And that's it. All of this fancy face shifting shenaniganry is just for me to sell for myself the illusion that I am human. Which I am clearly not, but I like to pretend that I am. I like to pretend that I belong. So yeah. It's much more easy to convince myself that I am human when I am in the form of a bipedal humanoid creature with facial features and so on, rather than being an amorphous, featureless blob, you see. And also it does help that I was born with this body, so I see no reason to shed it in this moment. After all, if you were born with an original set of bones, would you really discard them? They hold sentimental value. It is good SCP edit. If you could check, it would be good. No, I didn't mean stream. I mean video I recorded. Oh. Did you say something that I didn't catch before? No. I reckon not. The blob is just transmitting sound. Basically, yeah. That is essentially a breakdown of all the falsities and fabrications of my being. It is a complicated mix of illusions, which is probably why I can only stream for about 4 hours, because I get very tired of constantly using Osteomancer to move my face for neat lip syncing. I am a slave to my aesthetical needs, and this is very much aesthetics. Marshall Carter and Dark are horrifying. By this point in time, however, Dr. Eden had agreed to prepare a Foundation operative to seize Dutch Mountain, in order to gain further insight on what may be occurring and the layout of the mine itself, or when it's laid out. When the raid is commenced, Agent Rudy Weller was instructed to enter the Red Brook mine. Despite oddity, Red Canary initially considered non-anomalous explanations for majority, due to inconsistencies, blaming symptoms from gas leakage, black lung. This did not last. Thank you, machine. I do have the thing here. It will be read as soon as I finish reading the... I have a very, very long list of things I need to read through, so I read through this, I might as well close this. And I read through this, but I guess it's worthwhile keeping it open. Look at that image. That is a face only the SCP Foundation could love. Anyway. Agent Weller's camera is affixed to his breast pocket as he enters the mine. He briefly covers it with his palm as he steps through the mine entrance and into the dark. He removes his hand and walks on. He illuminates his path via an open lantern affixed to his hard hat, much like other miners. My comment just deleted, so you were talking about your SCP edit. If you could check on YouTube. I am not going to do that live on stream. Oh, you sent a link. That's why it was deleted. You sent a link on YouTube. I make no promises to check it after stream, but I can guarantee you I won't be checking it on stream. Also, let me check if this is actually correct. Do not advertise, promote, or post links in chat without permission. Since it got deleted automatically by the system, that's your first and last warning on that regard. You're self-promoting right now, my friend, and that's a no-no, according to the bylaws of Bowenthius Incorporated. That's me, Bowenthius the Bone Wizard. Anyway. Well, whatever the case may be, you are attempting to self-promote and coerce me to showcase whatever it is that you have made on stream, so enough of that subject. I've said my piece. Anyway, he illuminates his path via an open lantern affixed to his hard hat, much like the other miners. He nods his head at the He passes, slipping past the minecart. Agent Weller holds a clipboard in his hands and uses it to sketch out his path as he progresses through the mine. There is squelching as he walks. The mine floor is muddy. I lost my place. Rainwater runs rivulets down the tunnels and walls. Above the static of Agent Weller's breathing, dripping can be heard. Damn rain! I forgot what Agent Weller's voice sounded like, so we're making a new one. He begins to walk on the wooden guides for the minecarts instead. It is early in the morning, but there are an ample of workers about. Agent Weller passes laborers, miners, people loading carts with coal. After approximately 2 minutes of walking and mapping, he pauses and watches a pair of miners chipping away at a vein that appears a different texture than the rock body it lies in. Agent Weller would later report that they were mining chipped away into brilliant oranges and pinks. Random question. Orange. That is my random answer for you, but ask your question, Esmire. And ask it well. They appear to have difficulty in removing it from the wall. You boys struggling? Dean Milton, name taken from ID Lanyard. Oh, Lord have mercy. Sweet, thanks for the answer. You are welcome, Esmire. My answer is orange. Not door hinge, orange. She's just harder to break than the other rock. Is that petrified wood? You bet! Damn! I keep confusing all the 50 million agents. Right, Weller, okay. Damn, I heard about it, but I thought it was just some rumor I'd signed on to a coal mine. The miner waves a hand. The second individual still picks at the wall. Oh, we still mine that shit. It's just the foreman started having us mine it years back when we first started digging it up. The question was, what's your favorite pizza topping? Orange is an odd one, but it's like it's like pineapple. Oh. I mean, I am a meat lover's pizza enthusiast. So, lots of those. I like cheese. Weirdly enough, I can't really tell you the absolute pinnacle of favorite that I could possibly have, because a pizza is a combination of things, just like how spaghetti bolognese is a combination of things, and ramen is a combination of things, and lasagna. They're all basically the same concept done in different ways, but well, the most commonly consumed pizza by me is pepperoni. So I guess if I had to choose and give you a definitive answer, it would be pepperoni. But I like mushrooms for some reason. During my RimWorld playthroughs, I am mushroom maxing to the absolute, so... Oh, hello, Lector! Welcome in! Thank you for stopping by on a non-RimWorld stream. It's very nice to see you. I hope your Friday has treated you well. Lasagna, the pasta cake, yes! The pasta cake. To me, pizza, lasagna, spaghetti, ramen, they are all different expressions of the same ideal. Pizza mozzarella. I have no idea what that type of pizza that is. I like cheese pizzas as well. Whoa, what was it? Mozzarella. Anyway. You know what what the bosses are using it for? Milton shrugs. Above all our pay grades, I'd reckon. If it's wood, guess they're building with it. Agent Weller nods and picks up a chipped-off piece of the petrified wood in the ground. He later reports back as examined, yada yada yada. This is the first time in my life where a set of SCP stories have... I feel like this is struggling from a case of say less. But I suppose it's my fault because I am reading... I was first interested by the foreman, and the foreman sort of explained the backstory about the mines, and now I'm reading about the mines, so it kind of feels like I'm retreading the same ground. And I was already burned because the Black Lungs were already an expansion series, and I thought I was going to be given explanations on what the mine and the Black Lungs were going to be about, but they didn't do that. It just gave me basically a DLC. Wow, those were some funny mushrooms. I agree, they very much were. The mushrooms were so crazy that we started hallucinating SCP articles. Entities escalation with breathy whistle. It does not look at ancient weather.
You ain't like the others down here.
When the things have too much DLC, yes. So I guess it's up to me to finally conclude the story of the Black Lung and so... I mean, I could always pick this up later, but... actually, that is what I'm gonna do, because this is a 50,000 kilometer article, and I'm kind of mine colony black lunged out for the time being, so let's read something else. That'd be a scary trip, just hallucinating SCPs. Considering a lot of SCPs in of themselves are hallucinations, that would be quite petrifying, yes. I would tend to agree. Anyway, so I'll put a pin in this one and read it another time, because I'm growing tired and weary of this man right here and his extensive, well-thought-out backstory. It is no indictment of the quality of the story itself, I'm just tired. Anyway, let's read something else. Oh yeah, this also came from that, so this is also going to be saved for another time. What's this one? This one is level 3 and different. It's 3 PM and I feel like I'm about to fall asleep. What if you hallucinated 096? Oh, that would be spooky. I need to remember what 096 was, though. I think I've read 096, but I keep forgetting because I keep confusing it. Because 096 is close to Cain and Abel and so on, so... let's duplicate and just write... 096... Shy Guy? No idea that... I believe... What is 096? I have read this. Mass humanoid creature, 2, subject shows very little muscle mass. I think this is Abel's brother. Yes, this is Abel's brother. I forgot wait. Cain. This is the first killer. I'm pretty sure you hallucinated him, you wouldn't count as if it's not physically looking at his face. Yes. Can you describe the mission? Right, anyway. SCP-3989. Foundation Assets have purchased 20 acres of land surrounding SCP-3989 and converted them into a living olive orchard. No, it isn't that guy. Isn't it not that guy? Oh god, so many guys. So many guys! Facial features remain similar. It is not yet known whether it's blind. SCP is just a really shy of his face. Oh, that guy. It feels like I've read it, but now that you mention it, I don't think I have. Thematically appropriate SCP. Essentially the shy guy. Cool, right. Protocol Plainsight 201 is in effect for all shipments sent from and received by Area 126. Wish I could zoom in on these pictures. Chain link fencing stopped with barbed wire has been installed around the perimeter. If you look at him, you perish. Yeah, oh right, the what? If you take a picture of it, you're safe though, right? Is that how that one worked? I've heard of it, and I think For some reason, it's blanking out my memory. I don't know why. That's a weird phenomenon that's currently happening. I cannot, for certainty, say whether or not I actually read that article or not, but I recognize the number 96 because it's close to 97 and 98. This forest one being the thematic one, that is. Ah, this is the thematic one. Cool. Chain link fencing topped with barbed wire has been installed around the perimeter of property surrounding SCP-3989. Concrete barriers 4 meters in height have been constructed surrounding the original extent of Area 129 property, with security checkpoints on the northern and eastern walls for access to the interior. An additional 4-meter concrete barrier surroundings the current extent of SCP-3989's active zone at a distance of 5 meters. You, in space, see the image of Shy Guy. He will come for you. Ah. I recall. I remember. Additional 4-meter concrete barrier surrounds the current extent of SCP-3989's active zone at a distance of 5 meters. A platoon-strength detachment of MTF, that's a symbol, 7, Beta, Gamma, Alpha, Epsilon 7, fumigators, is to be stationed on site at all times with access to anti-tank weaponry in the event of internal breach or external incursion. Additional assets will be made available if greater force is deemed necessary to prevent local military activity from breaching SCP-3989's active zone. Civilians attempting to gain access are to be turned away or restrained with non-lethal force and must be captured prior to breaching 3989. What the fuck is this thing? All experimentation on retrieved items is to be carried out under biosafety level 4 conditions. Any material retrieved from SCP-3989 is to be incinerated at the conclusion of testing,
With no exceptions.
Personnel affected by SCP-3989-V5? Can I tell you? 096's cell, a meter by... Yeah, it's the first sentence, a 5 by 5 by 5 meter thick metal box. That's why I thought I read about it, because that description sounded familiar to me. It's in a box. I'm sure you will like this one. I have very few... I have no reason to doubt. All experimentation on retrieved items is to be carried out under biosafety. Any material retrieved... Personnel affected by SCP-3989-5 or -V are to be offered the option to self-terminate following interview, or remanded to permanent HCP-03 containment cells on site. Bi-weekly, 4 teams of 10 members, each of MTF fumigators, will enter the active zone from all 4 cardinal directions and incinerate any new growth within the active zone to a depth of approximately 10 meters. I feel like I've seen this before, where a giant god goes down upon the earth and is nuked, and his skeleton remains. But he can regenerate, so there's a cleanup crew that is tasked with constantly incinerating his body to stop it from regenerating, because he is otherwise indestructible, so they keep him contained by burning his ever-regenerating flesh off of his body. In Australia! By the way, I'm really into SL content, SCP content. Ah, excellent! So, this is the right place for you. You are both well-versed in the wonders of RimWorld, and enjoy SCP content. I do SCP content on Fridays, and so far it would appear, because I have no reason to change it, my next week is going to have the same schedule as this week. So, RimWorld on the Tuesday and Wednesday, and SCP stuff on Friday. I'm also very into SCP content, but I have not read that many articles, so this seems like the perfect theme for a stream. And as such, here we are. I have a lot of VODs with previous articles that I've read. I should probably catalog all the articles I've read over the course of this series. The current playlist only has this episode, but that's because I've only recently started actually caring about playlists. I really should do a summer, spring, winter cleaning of my playlists for my streams, because I have a lot of playlists. A lot of streams and not a lot of categorization.
Anyway.
Yada, 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 yada. Okay, bi-weekly, 4 teams of 10 of each of the fumigators will enter an active zone from all 4 cardinal directions and incinerate any growth within the active zone to a depth of approximately 10 meters. Do you like some sweet, sweet candy? I love chocolate. Chocolate is my weakness. If there is a box with a twig and a string attached to the twig to pull the twig so the box topples over, and the thing put under the box is chocolate, I will be there. Unless it's dark chocolate. I am a sugar fiend, and as such, require ample amounts of sugar to sustain my existence. Drone exploration of SCP-3989-A requires approval of the anomaly's HMCL supervisor. Currently Dr. Sakhir Joachim and Area 126 Director Fakhrid Mohammed. Well, read about SCP-330. Again, I've read so many, well, I say I've read so many, but I've only got like, what, 5-6 episodes of SCP Foundation literature reading? Alright, let's see, what is 330? Yeah. Small round stainless steel. Oh, okay, I haven't read this one. Okay, that's saved. I like dark and menthol chocolate. Ah, fair enough. The red stuff is mainly sugar. Yes. Isn't it beautiful? It can be anything. It could be energy, it could be Goku Super Saiyan beams, it could be sugar, you know. Whatever the mind desires. Description. A box filled with candy. I love it. Chocolates. I love Valentine's Day, not because I have a significant other to share the celebration with, but because it gives copious amounts of chocolates to stores for which to sell. Also, I dig the heart shapes. They're adorable. So, chocolate. I love it. Anyway. SCP-3989 is a Usuwastu-C. What the hell is that? Unstable, stationary, unaided, wide area, safe, two-way, cyclic. Okay. A cyclic space-time anomaly which connects a large portion of its interior to an unknown and apparently extra-universal or extra-temporal location. Oh. Oh. SCP-3989-A. The active zone of the anomaly is approximately 30 meters in diameter. It used to be 12 meters, now it's 30 meters. Though the box has paper on it, please only take 2. The box is mine! It's mine now! SCP-3989 is located within a grove of Olea Europea trees in Syria. In Shbliggity-Blaggity-Boogity-Boggity, Syria. External measures and observations of the grove indicate a footprint of approximately 5 acres. From the perimeter of the property, the anomalous nature of SCP-3989 is not readily apparent, though locally embedded cant counter readings fluctuate between 0.76 and 3.62 HM. With highest readings occurring during dark hours, this effect persists at instances of up to 20 meters from the perimeter of the property. Upon entering the active zone, SCP-3989 manifests a non-Euclidean space, which continues to expand as it is traversed until objects of the anomaly cross into SCP-3989-A. Radio and other communication signals continue to traverse the anomaly with no distortion, but GPS tracking is proven ineffective. Traversal into SCP-3989-A can only be achieved from a westerly direction after sunset. You grab the box, trying to take all the candy. Are you role-playing a scenario here? You are the master of your own story. Your hands stop existing the moment you do. Oh no, my hands! Whatever shall I do with them? Are you, of course, referring to... Hold on a second, it needs to load. These bad boys! I made them myself. These bad boys, aren't they beautiful? They could be better, but I love them all the same. They are my children, after all, and these hands are made for busting. Ghosts, of course, because I'm apparently a ghostbuster now. Hydration. It shall be done.
I will be drinking the beautiful rum. Oh, it's been a while. Welcome in, Leaflin, welcome in. You're just in time to witness me drink. Hydration has been done in your name. Beautiful Delta. You'll not be sent to Davy Jones's locker yet, me hearty, lardy, hardy, bardy. Hands. No. Right, where are we on with this beautiful article? SCP-330 was found on a Halloween street. You can take 2 tasty candy, but the moment you touch the third, your hands disappear. Oh, so you're role-playing the SCP that I was going to read. Spoiling it for me. Yes, I've got hands, Leafling, but welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. And I hope you've enjoyed your Friday thus far. Up until the point of time where you find yourself in. Hopefully for you right now, it is still a Friday. The 15th of August, 2025. You silly boy, Lecter, you silly boy. I've never had that happen to me before. Somebody suggests an article and then gives me the play-by-play of what the article is about. I'm finally out of the hospital, so feeling great. I'm happy to hear that for you. Being inside the hospital is usually not a great time. Hopefully whatever ailments ail you have been vanquished all the same. Right, where the hell were we? If the active zone is not approached from the east or during daylight hours, non-Euclidean properties of the area persist, but will not result in a subject's disappearance. At SCP-3989. It's really short and my brain is tired. Fair enough, me hearty, fair enough. I'd rather sail the 7 seas with you, Captain. Aye, the 7 seas are quite an alluring mistress, are they not? The beautiful seas and how they dance upon the waves, with weird half-fish, half-women people trying to coerce you into jumping off your boat so they can eat you alive. The horrible splendors of the 7 seas. Which reminds me, there's probably an SCP article detailing mermaids here somewhere. I'd reckon. They probably have a picture of the mermaid statue that's famous somewhere in the world. I forget where. Somewhere to some degree and extent. I would gladly, though. I'd gladly jump off the plank to fall into the infinite abyss that is the sea, just for a chance to smooch a fish lady. I would imagine there is one, me hearty. I would imagine. I don't know which one it is, because I ain't read it, but imagine there is. Something with 4,000. There's lots of SCPs here, are there not? Right. Interior dimensions of the active zone exceeds 5 to 10. 5 has been crossed out now. We've got 10 acres. It seems like it's grown. Instances of SCP-3989-1 within an active zone appear with the same frequency as non-anomalous Olea Europea trees with the rest of the property, and are likely to outnumber them as much as 2 to 1. SCP-3989 and SCP-3989-A are home to several anomalous forms of life. Honestly though, why are sirens always going for the romantical stuff? Like I'd more likely jump off the boat if they said they have a puppy, and than that I'd get laid with a fish lady. And I mean, everybody's got their own different interests and kinks. It would be more ideal if the mermaids could manifest your internal desires, because like you said, for example, the allure of getting laid does not appeal to an asexual individual, for instance. So it would be quite weird to try to lure somebody in with your promise of tatas when they care not for your tatas. But that actually reminds me of a beautiful Samurai Jack episode, where the Scotsman encountered a bunch of horrifying sirens of the sea that lured pirates in by the dozens and robbed them of their treasures and memories, and he was completely immune to their singing because he was wife-sexual. He had absolutely no interest in anybody other than his wife, and the minute they started singing to him, it was like, "You call that a tune? Ah, me bonny wife, she sings like an angel. You sound like a deaf cat."
And it was beautiful. I love Samurai Jack, by the way. One of my favorite cartoons of all time. My internet speed is like 5 kilobytes and below. My condolences. Sailors at sea for months with their crew only be wanting. Sirens were an expression of the desire, even back then, of the sailors to goon in their own privacy. Because unfortunately we are creatures of instinct and preservation and so on. The desire to couple is met in most. Anyway, I was catching up. Come here, honey, we have garlic bread. You son of a bitch, I'm in. Okay, writing notes down. Esmire's weakness is garlic bread. If you wish to coerce Esmire into doing your bidding, tempt them with garlic bread. Noted. Some fishes make people feel extra depraved. Ugh. Wife sexual. Yes. I feel like that is a very apt way to describe him, because that's basically why he was immune to the siren song. Is that he just did not fall in love with the melody because he was already deeply in love with his horrifying wife that destroyed an entire castle by going through it. I don't even need private. Who doesn't have a weakness to garlic bread? That is an excellent point. I much enjoyed garlic bread when I received it in restaurants back in the day. It is quite a treat to behold. I haven't had garlic bread in a very, very long time, which makes me realize how much I've missed it ever since those moments. It's... Some people claim that nostalgia is a form of depression. Well, I am feeling now sadder because I remembered how much I used to love garlic bread, something all 10 years ago, and I no longer have access to it. For reasons being that I simply have not thought about going to the store and buying some. Or making some. Making things is also an option. Like me, I made this model. It features my face. Vampires would turn it down. Garlic bread? I mean, see, there's a very fun theory I love about pirates, is that they're actually not allergic, or their weakness is not garlic. They just say that and they shill vampiric counter-propaganda to have you season yourself so they can eat you with seasoning. To them, you're seasoning yourself before they devour you. Which is why vampires say, "Oh no, garlic, no!" as they are holding out a fork and a knife and licking their lips. I bet your blood would taste better if it was seasoned with garlic. I wouldn't know, though. Oh, is that why salt lines are also their weakness? Yes. You cover yourself in salt and garlic. Oh no, a vampire's only weakness. It just eats one of the finest meals ever, because it's been pre-seasoned for them. At least that's a funny story that I read once, and I'm sticking by it by sharing it with all of you. Anyway. I'm trying to get an achievement in a very cute, bloodless, child-friendly game. People Playground. Yes, that is a very cute, bloodless, child-friendly game, except the opposite of all those things. Does People Playground actually have achievements? Huh. I guess it would. I don't see why it wouldn't. Gourmet human. Vampires are weak to wooden stake through the heart. Oh, yeah, who isn't? Yeah. If you got hit with a stake through the heart, would you survive? I mean, the logic of it is that if you damage them in any other means, they will eventually reconstitute and regenerate. But it's still funny. Vampires won't go over running water because you wash your seasoning off, so there is no more point in chasing. That is actually very fun addendum to the whole garlic is seasoning for vampires lore. Where were we with this thing? So it's a big portal that leads into an extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial pocket dimension of some unknown kind with its own set of species. Oh, humans. Man, vampires are so much better with the thought that garlic is just seasoning. I think so. I would reckon so. Still, the water is fine because soup. I don't have a heart. Covers my face with my palm with one eye peeking out. Yes. That is a shame. Hearts are important. It is important to have heart in this increasingly vapid world that we are slowly decaying in. Anyway. Where was I? See, the thing is that even though it looks hopeless and horrifying in the grand climate of things, both literally and metaphorically, humanity has persevered, and we have evolved, overcome, and adapted. And what we see as trials and tribulations now will be very far removed from the problems of the next generation and the one that follows. So, my point is the world can be a dim, horrifying place, or actually something that is filled with hope, and it's all a matter of your perspective, so you could always see the world for better than what it could be. Does the skeleton wizard pirate captain have a heart? I mean, it isn't beating, but technically I have one. It's if I turn on the hands again. Then here somewhere. In there somewhere. I mean, at this point, the rigor mortis, or the state of decay, has sort of taken its toll, and I wouldn't be surprised if I unveiled this armor and revealed that it's just bones left, but hey, at some point I had a heart, a physical one. I'd like to think that I have heart in the metaphorical sense. It's important to have heart, as they are worth $190,000 US on the black market. I mean, going rates vary, but I'm glad you brought me up to speed. I haven't checked in a while, Esmaya. Does anyone have a spare heart? Not any spares. I have a lot of spare bones I could offer you, but you are just gaining bones on the constant just by virtue of being here. So, it's worth around $1 million if you get them legally. So, where's the true crime here? I mean, where there's need, there will be a market that necessitate the purchase and acquisition of this thing, which is why some countries automatically opt you into organ donation. Because you may have perished, but your organs may still be of great value to the people that live beyond your lifespan. Oh, Deltor is asking you for specifics on which heart and which species you need, because Deltor is very famous for having a collection. Just like how Batman has a collection of kryptonite. Anyway. If we manage to read this SCP today, I'll consider that a success. Are home to several anomalous life forms of life which bear striking genetic resemblance to Homo sapiens. Actually worth a lot of cash. It is, yes, it is. 3 human hearts. Delightful. We're trading some organs up in here. Though individual structures are clearly constructed out of human tissue, their organization is widely divergent. All trees present within the region are characterized by varying degrees of ossification. Ooh. Specimens which are completely ossified. If I remember correctly, that is the concept of being turned into bone. But then again, isn't calcification that? Hold on. Define ossification. The natural process of bone formation. Okay, so I was right. The hardening or Okay, so calcification is a synonym to ossification. Thanks, text and words. Look away, Twitch. Nothing weird going on here. I mean, they probably had to... I mean, they've turned a blind eye to worse, is what I wanted to say. Ossification. The fication of os. Yes, like me. I am very ficationed and ossed simultaneously. All trees present within the specimens which are completely ossified and defoliated resume growth of a new leaf-like and fruit-like structures to support their anomalous anatomy and reproduce animal-like and plant-like entities found within SCP-3989-A. Huh. My dealer probably won't want to let them go. Fibrodysplasia, ossifications, progressiva is a very, very cool and skeleton. Let me try reading that again. Fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva. Yes, leaf-like. It's making bone creatures. But yes, I believe the disease that you are describing is the one that essentially calcifies you to the point where you're being entombed inside your own body. Horrifying. Horrifying. Cascetizing yourself. Update. 5th of July 2015. SCP-3989-V refers to an unknown chemical or biological vector responsible for the onset of several perpetual effects in the area surrounding 3989. Exoskeleton disease, yes. See you later. Farewell, Lector. Goodbye. Hope you have a lovely Friday and a good weekend. Primary function of the vector appears to be the concealment of SCP-3989's full active range and to increase difficulty in perceiving related anomalous biological activity. 3989, also known as the Bone Orchard. A different dimension that calcifies everything, eh? Extended exposure of SCP-3989-V dampens the effects of perpetual tampering, but encourages a sense of curiosity regarding SCP-3989. Long-term exposure results in an obsessive, even religious fascination with SCP-3989 and SCP-3989-A. Alrighty, I should start getting ready for work. See y'all later. Thank you for stopping by, Asmaya, and farewell. I hope work treats you properly, and if not, season it with garlic and devour it whole. Good luck, and I hope you enjoy. Have you ever played the SCP game? No, because I don't know which the SCP game is. Is it SCP Secure, Contain, Protect? The one that actually has that one that moves whenever you blink? No, I have not played that. I briefly played some multiplayer thing. Containment Breach, yeah. I have not played it to a serious extent, and if I had played it, it was years ago, and I do not remember it. So it would actually be prime real estate for a Halloween stream. Potentially. But if I recall correctly, there are many SCP-themed games that I could peruse from. So that is a wide genre and or theming convention that I could draw from for inspiration. Anyway. Biosafety level 4 precautions are sufficient to prevent exposure in long-term personnel, suggesting either a chemical or olfactory vector. Research pending. Free content! Howdy, how you been? Oh darn, did I miss the RimWorld stream? You did not miss the RimWorld stream. Today is SCP article reading. On Wednesday it was the RimWorld stream, but stay tuned for next week because I'm planning on having the exact same schedule as this week, so Tuesday and Wednesday RimWorld and Friday SCP reading. I might even do, actually, I might skip next SCP reading, and it will just be 3 streams of RimWorld. Potentially. Stay tuned and find out. We will see in the fullness of time. But yes, next week will be RimWorld. For now, it's the last stream of the week for me, and it will be with reading. But before I can get back to the reading, I will have to conform to the mandatory ad break of Twitch. God, your model has really good eyebrow tracking. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's the first time I've seen somebody write the wrong that your and have it be the mistake. But that, actually, no, never mind. Anyway, be right back. We'll finish off this after the break. I think it's good to leave it on a high note there. Good job, everybody. Right. To refer to you... How do I refer to you? I have no idea how to refer to you. I really need to look into how I refer to you. If you have a naming convention that you'd like to be referred to as, please say it now so that I know how to refer to you, because I cannot read those lovely symbols. But, the lore behind SCP is crazy, and by lore you mean the IRL stuff. I have no knowledge on the behind-the-scenes actual community lore of SCP. Park! Okay, thank you. That is very, very easy for me. Thank you very much. Henceforth you shall be referred to as Park. But to refer to your point, I'm much more of a story in the articles kind of guy, not so much the behind-the-scenes drama and lore of the actual Foundation. Specifically for the Foundation. I am a sucker for drama, don't get me wrong, but I like to appreciate the SCP Foundation for the stories it tells, the stories it tells by writing them, rather than the stories it tells by virtue of existing in the internet space, where everything is recorded in one means or another, in one form or another. Anyway. Yada yada yada. Research pending. Foundation assets in Syria were alerted to a possible anomaly when a small olive orchard owned by so-and-so in Schmagam Blagam in northern Gigababi. Oh darn, I gotta go now. Bye! Have fun with the stream today. I'll catch you... try to catch you your next stream. Thank you, little leafling. Take care. And farewell. Till next time. On this, the Bowenthius channel, with me, your host, Bowenthius, the Bone Wizard. Foundation assets, yada 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 yada, began to resort to sell anonymously high crop yields for his reported number of trees. Field agents dispatched were met with significant resistance to questioning, and so began surveillance of the property. Harvesting operation alerted agents to the anomalous space contained within 39889. To be honest, we thought SCP people would be stuck making H.P. Lovecraft inspired works than a world filled with anomaly works. Oh, is that the origins of this site? I mean, I'm glad that they have grown outside of their humble origins, if those are truly what their origins are. Now, rather than the drama itself and all the goings-on, I am interested in where the concept of this foundation came from. What its origins pertain to, like its history more so than any fallings out between members and founders and so on. During interview, Mr. Spaghetti Boogity demonstrated no oranges to the origin or purpose of SCP-3989, and appeared to be entirely ignorant of SCP-3989-A. He and his family were subsequently amnesticized, relocated, and released. No further anomalous activity on the part of Mr. Bobbity Boobity has been recorded. Circumstances surrounding 3989's initial manifestation remain unknown. Addendum 3989-1. During inspection by Biological Containment Specialist Dr. Marshall Grant in 1906-2015, which is the 19th of June, 19 instances of SCP-3989-redacted spontaneously appeared beyond the perimeter of the active zone and proceeded to dismantle primary containment. Dr. Grant initiated containment breach alarm but received no response from assets within Area 126. An unknown number of security assets on site proceeded to release all biological anomalies in permanent containment. 2 instances of SCP-3989-redacted and 47 instances of SCP-3989-redacted. A firefight ensued wherein 30 Area 126 personnel were terminated, as well as 15 members of the Biological Containment Inspection Team. Foundation MTF assets in Damascus were scrambled and fully terminated in 21 instances of SCP-3989-redacted outside of containment. The origin of SCP is by Reddit 4chan story that put his artwork and made it into, like, a secret government document that you shouldn't have encountered. Ah! An inspiration, to be sure. 25 tagged instances of 3989 were recovered from the bodies of Area 126 personnel. The rest remain unaccounted for. Containment procedures are currently under review by Dr. Grant. Interview AA-3989-3, 19th of June 2015. Dr. Marshall Grant. Introduction. Standard after-action interview to establish details surrounding 19/06 containment breach at Area 126, performed by Marayamus. Jameis? Dr. Marshall Grant is visibly distressed. Davy's unofficial son? Peak. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for stopping by, Davy's unofficial son. This is peak in the sense of the word rather than the sense of the game. Ah, thank you for the follow. You're officially follower 301. Wow. If this was a supermarket, you'd probably get a prize. But thank you for your support. In a way, it was like X-Files, but with anomalies added to the crazy world of cryptic and aliens that X-Files had. Ah, an extra wrinkle to add to the X-Files dimension, I see. Standard. Dr. Marshall Grant is visibly distressed and is experiencing mild tremors throughout the interview. Good afternoon, Dr. Grant. No, miss. It is definitely a bad afternoon. Yes, I understand. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview. Do you need some time before we proceed? No, thank you. I want to get this over with. You know, I've been working for the Foundation for almost 40 years, and I've never seen, you know, combat of the mortal variety. Based on what I've heard, you did very well for the circumstances. Let's proceed, shall we? First, what is it that led you to come to Area 126 today? You don't think that I... What? We just need to get the full picture of the circumstances. Normally one of our local assets would have carried out this inspection. I'm curious why you came here. Hey, well, I'm a biologist, right? And I have a good long record, so the Foundation made me into a kind of a consultant. I was flipping through a large stack of records when I saw this site here, middle of a war zone, popping out exobiological entities, surrounded by, what, a fence? No mention of biosafety precautions, no pathologists on staff, nothing. It's dangerous, very dangerous. Not gonna lie, I wish Twitch didn't leave my country because I can use the site. I can't make any purchase and forced to watch almost ads every 5 minutes. Well, when you're on Twitch, that's unfortunate. And my condolences. Hopefully, if it manages to work, I don't know how it works, but I am planning on unaffiliating soon. And one of the many reasons why I'm doing that is because I don't want ads on my channel. So perhaps when that event occurs, that could potentially work out for you. Hopefully you won't get any ads. Yes, but coming all this way, was that really necessary? Oh yes, I called the, the HMCL, Dr. Gazely, and left messages, emails, phone calls, contacted the director. They just waved me off. Don't worry about it, it's under control. And the Damascus branch is, well, busy dodging bombs. So I figured I'd come out and see for myself. If it's under control, no harm. But if it's not, you know, I can tell them. What? Yeah. Sorry. Dr. Grant rests his head on the table and takes several deep breaths. Marshall, are you alright? Yeah, I just gotta slow down. Okay, Jesus, adrenaline. Dr. Grant raises his head and takes a sip from a small cup of water, nods and motions with his hands to continue. So, going back to our discussion, what was the status of Area 126 when you first arrived? Don't know why I decided on this voice, but I did. Hydration! Hydration will be done in the name of Kill Shot 8686. I wonder what SCP-8686 is all about, because that does exist. In fact, I want to check immediately. What's it like? Oh yeah, hydration. Hydration has been done in your name. Huh. That's neat. That's even neater. It would be funny if most scientists were European, like heavy German, Italian, French, Spanish, British, Irish, and Scottish accents, while most MPF units are Eastern due to how quiet they are. Due to how quiet they are? I'm gonna assume it's quiet. But well, I mean, a scientist may come from any background and or lineage, I feel. Science does not discriminate. Well, with regards to... I can't claim that this is factual, at least my perspective is as such. They don't discriminate against race, but from what I understand, there is a lot of discrimination between qualifications and rank and file, from what I know, in those professions. I am not experienced in them. I do not hold many accolades, so I wouldn't know, per se. That is all I can say, based on my observations. Anyway. When you first arrived, As soon as I pulled out, I could smell it. The team I had with me couldn't, but I could. Something was rotten, like dead or dying rotten. And I swear this, it's hard to describe, but there was a kind of dusty yellow haze over the whole place. Agent didn't report anything like that. I know, but I used HMCL for it. Never mind. The point is, I had to get myself inoculated against basic cognitive hazards. The cognition is in my brain! And hallucinogens, so... I see. At what point did you sound the breach alarm? Well, I tried to call someone out to talk, no answer again. And I wish I wasn't about to step into that stuff, who knows what. I had one of the security team radio the armory, and all we got back was this gibberish talking that I tried very hard to not to hear. We start suiting up masks to head in there when... Take your time. I've seen a lot of gross things, but I can't. It was like looking at something out of a video game or something. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. 3 meters tall, maybe 4, no skin, teeth the size of my thumbs. One arm was just enormous, the other cradled up next to it, and I swear I watched it inflate to match the other one. Skin just suddenly wraps around like plastic molding. It had no eyes, but I swear the bastard saw me, and it smiled. And then boom, 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 a bunch of them shoot up from the ground, and there's bullets flying everywhere. I fell back to the van and got on the radio to the maskers because I have no idea if small arms can do anything to this thing. There was a lot of screaming, and I didn't watch. I couldn't watch. The grizzled war veteran comes out. What about the inside the facility? Can you tell us about that? Dr. Grant shudders and nods. I crept out when I heard the helicopter overhead. Ooh, the spitting. And the fence was all twisted and gone. I bet Dr. Marshall was spinning like a madman. Yeah, sunglasses. 2 of those, I guess I'd call... The reason I say their world be more Western scientists than Eastern in SCP is because most Eastern world prefer to work as an accountant and avoid being killed, while Western scientists are courageous. Oh. In that sense, well... The Western world does like their fair share of brave, courageous soldier-warrior stories, and I guess that trickles down into having a bit more bravery than what is often the case for the rest of the sane world. I crept out when I heard the helicopter overhead and the fence was all twisted and gone. 2 of those, I guess I'd call them humanoids, are slumped down on the ground, not moving. After a few more are surrounded further up. There were a couple of bodies nearby, partially, consumed. By now my adrenaline's up, so I secured my mask, grabbed the rifle, and started to make my way to the facility. That's when I noticed that the people inside were shooting out at me.
So...
You did what you had to.
Yeah, I suppose. Luckily one of the team saw me and ran over to make me take the lead. Inside was a mess. Weird symbols on the walls. I can feel my head warping around it. So I just keep my eyes forward and focus on helping clear the hallway. Some of them surrendered. I don't think it works on everyone. Anyway, we get down to the container level and all the doors are just open. Empty terrariums anywhere. Everywhere. And this... Fuck!
You're referring to SCP-3989- correct?
Right in the middle of the atrium.
Also in lore, while the SCP do have Eastern Branch, it doesn't help the Ungak has a strong influence in the entire Asian continent. What is this Ungak you speak of? Are you talking about... I believe they were referenced in a previous article that I did. Are you telling me that Eastern countries and the Asian colonies have their own equivalent of the SCP Foundation that goes under a different name and is in their respective languages? If so, neat. There's a whole pantheon of SCP-esque websites, I suppose.
He's in the middle of the atrium. Someone was growing a tree made out of backbones right in the middle of the atrium. At first I thought it was like a fetish or something. Some sick construction they made in reverence to whatever's inside, but I heard its heartbeat. I heard it breathing. They had been growing it, culturing it, harvesting things from it. Using some of the people on site to feed it. Our people. They only locked cells. I don't know, 30 unaffected people handled inside. Stripped nude and covered in... I don't even want to guess. It was all over the logs. Some of this is going to have to go hither, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
United Nations Global Occult Coalition. Oh yeah, the Global Occult Coalition, that one. The GOC. They're basically the UN wanting to destroy all anomalies that are deemed dangerous and only keep useful anomalies for humanity. Yes! I've read about these. There we go. The phenomenon made manifest. The idea where if you have the first and last letters of a word and you know what it's meant to be, you just read it. I didn't even notice that you missed the letter L in the word global. I just read it as global. Because I knew that was meant to be the word global. Completely glossed over the fact that you misspelled it. But yes, I have read upon the GOC. Oh yeah, they're the guys that put the chair that just wanted people to sit on it through the wood chipper. And it became an anomaly that essentially defends itself by teleporting pieces of itself into your lungs to kill you. That poor chair. Oh yeah, sawdust. It just wanted to be useful. I remember now. I don't remember the number, but I remember that chair. That poor chair. That poor chair. The GOC had no right. They had no right! They've been growing and culturing and harvesting things from it. Dr. Grant wipes his eyes and takes another drink of water.
Okay, 2 things. Number 1, whatever is in there, it wants out. It wants our planet for something. Food, worship, I don't know. But there's no way this anomaly intends to stay put.
And the second... It just gets even more insane. I apologize for misspelled grammar. I misspelled it. Do not worry about it. It is completely understandable and fine. You are not the worst offender. You are, in fact, one of the most eloquent people around the Bowenthius annals. With regards to recent arrivals, I mean. So, no sweat. Do not worry about it. I can understand you, and that is good enough for me. Considering that presumably English is not your first language, as it is not mine, I feel like we are communicating in a foreign tongue quite well. Again, that is an assumption of mine. And the second. Alright. And the second.
Containment procedures say its diameter is 12 meters here on your side. It's not even close. It's growing. We need to get someone down here yesterday.
Addendum 3989-2. SCP-3989 has been upgraded to a Keta-class anomaly. Biosafety Level 4 precautions are in effect to prevent future infestations of SCP-3989 redacted within Area 126. New containment procedures complete as of the 5th of July 2015. Additional information is accessible only to personnel with Level 4 General or SCP-3989 project-specific clearance. Personnel able to perceive this message are authorized to access the remainder of this document. If you are reading this and have not been inoculated via Agent IH3989B, please contact Dr. Sakir Iwakim immediately to verify your clearance. Failure to do so may result in permanent cognitive impairment. Misspelling Missy Sepling Warods Wast Seatis. Yes, indeed, Skull, indeed. Right, so this log has some extras attached to it. Oh, lovely. Mythical location present in both Broken God and Sarkic mythology. Sarkic prophet of war, the hunt, betrayal, and loyalty, credit to the conquest of Kythera in Sarkic scripture. There exists no record of text recovered from SCP-3989. The veracity of the statement is unknown. And then you have exploration logs. Oh, boy. Expand list of sub-designations. Oh, boy. This goes in depth. But so far, yes, I do like this a lot. This is a lovely SCP. It's a bone orchard. Horrifying. I think I've heard of the phrase bone orchard before, but here's the actual article in the calcified flesh. Delightful. I will read the addendums to this one next time, in addition to 96 and 8686 and this is not, and 7775 and 330. Hello again, Lector. We have many things. Hold on, let me save. The Chaos Insurgency are quite interesting, since their motto is, when there is order, we are chaos. When there is chaos, we are order, meaning they are causing chaos, because there is order. They are the balance, so they're basically the balance insurgency then. They are Dr. Fate and his order of balance. How delightful. Yeah. Alright, Actually, due to the fact that I have 50 million tabs open, the numbers of the articles are not very well visible. So I'll have to do a little bit of gerrymandering. There we go, now they're legible. Excellent, now I can save them. Look at his face, isn't that a face only a mother could love? Maybe, I don't know. Are you this thing's mother? Am I gonna give someone brain damage with my intentional misspelling of words someday? I mean, there's a non-zero percentage chance you could very well do that, O'Skull, and you will have to carry the guilt of that for the rest of your life. My favorite is the Churchill of the Broken God. The Winston Churchill of the Broken God. I like the Serpent's Hand. They're silly and hippies. Ha 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 ha. Also, I'm in the O5 Council. Ha 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 ha. Bada bing bada booey, now we're here. For some reason, my hands are in the wrong place. That's strange. Oh, actually no, it's not strange because I pressed a bunch of key bindings and messed up my hands. Oops, I guess I'm Y-posing for today. There we go. I've managed to un-Y-pause. Actually, that's not... well, fuck it. This is why you shouldn't press keybinds at random, because you might accidentally mess up with something. I accidentally also regave myself a mug. Isn't it beautiful? I made this mug. It is a mug. I made all of the things you see on screen, actually. I never thought about that. All of this is entirely made by yours truly. On screen. Yes. Anyway. Nobody redeemed Hydrate, but that doesn't stop me from hydrating anyway. I'm a hydration fiend. But yes, that is stream done for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. It was very lovely and enjoyable to get some scoops on the current pricing of black market hearts. Thanks for the stream. Hope everyone has a nice weekend. I hope for the same. Hey, look, somebody redeemed Hydrate. Ah! You need a cool dark magic revolver. That is amazing. I do have a cool dark magic revolver. I forgot the keybinds to summon it. But I have modeled a cool dark magic revolver. We are very similar individuals, aren't we, Park? With very similar interests. But yes, I do have a revolver that I forgot how to summon. It's one of these keys somewhere. Maybe. I don't know. I keep doing keybinds. Maybe one of these will eventually become the gun. Nope, I forgot which keybind the gun is. Actually, I could check that. Hold on. Thank you for the great reads. Great stream as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Ha ha ha. Try the any key. I already tried. It didn't work. Right. You'll have to look at a bit of behind the scenes here, so bear with me for a spell. Setting. No, not settings. The other one. Node graphs. Gaze upon the behind the scenes. Yes, there's your raid messages. We'll get on to that as soon as I figure out what the redeems. There's the spin one. There's the captain. There's the sunglasses. Do I even poses? Did I put it in poses? Clear pose, set pose, sword hold. That's the wrong pose. Gun, there it is, gun hold. It doesn't actually have a trigger. Ah. So, can I... Keybind? Is it hotkey? There it is. Control Shift 0. Did that do the thing? No. I wanted it to do the thing. Guess it doesn't do the thing. Oh well. I'm playing around with this now. Should remember my own hotkeys. Is it in interactions? I'm very organized, you see. Alright, well, I failed, so I will find that out in the next time. Anyway. Behind the scenes, yes. Very magic software. Right. Finding somebody to raid. But yes, thank you, everybody, for your continued support and being here. Hopefully, by the end of this month, I will have a better grasp of my own streams with regard to not being beholden to anybody. So, I'm gonna do a classic. Classic. That was not a good sound. That was not a good sound at all. Oh. By accidentally clicking on the... you know what, that's fine. Anyway, we're raiding into Moose. Everybody should know Moose from my community. We share a lot. Including community members every here and now and then, and so on and so forth. But, they're very lovely. They are currently fighting their own husband in Mario Kart World, so hopefully you'll enjoy that bit of competitive stride, and if not, I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week for a continuation of my RimWorld installments. Take care and farewell.